Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on the gifts and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast and Facebook Live. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Hello, everybody. It is ID to the J with the roll away. And I'm going to tell you right now, this one I've been waiting on for a little bit. And I really, honestly, I just want to say, how happy I am to be doing this show. Number 71. Now, you think about this for a minute. 71 episodes. And this episode took a turn because I had a guest that was supposed to be on, and circumstances kind of stopped that. I want to say that we are live on Facebook and we are live on the Disability Global Broadcast. I'm actually trying to get that up right now. A few technical difficulties, so give me just a minute to work on that. But how this came about, and the two wonderful guests that I'm going to bring on in just a few minutes. I'm gonna talk a little bit first because y'all know that's what I do. To really kind of put this into perspective, y'all know how I feel about Miss Winnie, and I've mentioned how much of a inspiration she is to me. She's a mother figure. She is what I call a superwoman because she does a little bit of everything. If Miss Winnie's got her hands in it, she can do it. And I'm pretty sure even if she ain't got her hands in it, she can still do it. I want to welcome all of you to the show today. I can't guarantee there won't be tears in this show because the prelude to this, there's a time and a place for everything. I had about probably I would say an hour and a half conversation with two very special people. And one of them I had just got the opportunity of meeting, and she's going to be up on the show hopefully a little bit later. Um, but we talked about a time and a place for everything. And you look at life and how precious life is, and how many chances you are given from ground zero to right now. Now, you look at your life and you look at where you are at this very moment. Hey, Tony. Hey, Josh. Hey, Cindy. Thank y'all for tuning in. Listen, and if y'all are tuning into the show right now, do me a favor. Drop me a line or a comment. Let me know who you are. Make sure that I acknowledge you guys. Thank you for tuning into the show and being a part of this. Like I said, we are live on the Disability Global Broadcast, and we are live on Facebook Live. I'm trying to get everything up right now, and I appreciate y'all hanging with me for just a couple of minutes trying to get everything going. It is amazing to me how this actually came about. And you start having a conversation with somebody, and you think the conversation is going to go one way. And it starts out that way. But what is amazing to me is how the conversation turns to where God wants it to go. Now, you think about that for a second, because I had no intention of talking about, how I met Miss Winnie and how things, how many stories she told and all of this and the impact that, Miss Winnie has had on me. And the flyer that I made yesterday for this show kind of indicates what we're going to talk about. And it really amazes me as to how God brought this out. Because when you have a person that, does things for people and helps people and shows people their potential. Hey, Justin and Melissa, how are you? Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate that. I look at this and I go, what an amazing God we serve. And the reason I say that is, how does a conversation that's this powerful come to right here, right now? Do I plan on having a conversation at 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock at night, that involves such zeal that you're kind of taken back in awe about what goes on? And I literally ask myself the question, how did this happen? And I literally was so excited that I could not sleep last night because I was so excited for this show and the way that this show came about. A place and a time for everything is not just where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do. It comes up to much more than that, in a sense of God's timing is so valuable on all things, from the words that come out of your mouth to the exact time that they're spoken. And the great thing about Edwina Wilson is this conversation that happened, I think God had allowed it to happen at the time and the place that he needed to hear it, or that she needed to hear it. And the more we spoke, I told Miss Winnie, I said, well, what's amazing to me is, I'm not crying over the phone conversation. I said, I can't guarantee that I won't cry over, when we get talking about this, because it's so awesome. So let me bring in someone special to me, and just she does so much for so many people. I don't think there's one title that really can describe her enough to tell you what she is. She's a CEO and founder of Kelly's Choice Care. She's a mother. She's a caregiver. She's a motivator. She is. I'm pretty sure if there was a car on the side of the road somewhere broken down, she could take Band-Aids and duct tape and stick it together. If not, she called Mr. Wilson and he do that part. But this lady is more than a lady. She's an individual that doesn't just help people. Often she carries them through, or helps them to walk through exactly what they're going through at the time in their life. And we're going to get into that in just a few minutes. Hey, Aaron, thank you for joining the show. Let me introduce and bring in the CEO and founder of Kelly's Choice Cares, Miss Edwina Wilson. And I'm gonna tell you, this one, y'all get ready, because this one's gonna have some impact. So if y'all got some tissues, y'all go ahead and get them, because I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna hit some stuff today that's really gonna make you think about a time and a place for everything. See, she got the red hat, the red bear thing matching. I knew I dressed up for a reason today. How you doing, Miss Winnie?
I'm great, DJ. I'm so great. I can't complain. I just can't. All I can do is just thank God every single day. And every morning I wake up. That's all I can do.
I was talking about a little bit about our conversation last night and God's timing.
Mm-hmm.
It is so amazing to me that we can't, because you and I were talking, and the topic was there, and we were kind of dancing around, and I'm like, man, when you hit that, a time and a place for everything. I never knew a 90-minute conversation, 97 minutes we spoke last night.
Yeah.
That was the most powerful 97 minutes of my life thus far. I could not sleep last night. I was so excited that
Wow.
I was tossing and turning because this came out. And we talk about a time and a place for everything, from a timeline to when we met, to how we met, to what you went through in your life, to some of the stories that we shared, and then to bring in our other guest, who hopefully will be here just shortly.
She'll be here. Mm-hmm.
When she came in, the whole thing just kind of gelled together, and you said, "You two, y'all got me."
Y'all got me.
That's, but for the meaning for you, and a time and a place for everything is so valuable, because
Yeah.
I just said, when you were getting yourself all prettied up, which you were pretty enough for me, but not only in God's timing of the big things, but those small little things and those moments that you don't really think about when you call someone to do something totally different or talk about something different, and God goes, "Poof," and the conversation comes off on one word, one thought, and I'm going, how did this get here? But it was so valuable at the time. It just happened, and I'm like, what did I just do? At the time, I didn't even realize where I was going, or that he was leading me somewhere that I was supposed to go. And look at that. Nikki said, "Mama, you look gorgeous." Look at that. See?
Oh, thank you, Nikki.
But I want to get your thoughts on before we get too far into this, because on just timing, because you talk a lot about being the CEO and founder of Kelly's Choice. There's timing and there's a place for everything, and just your plate is so full. Sometimes I go, I don't know how in the world she got time for nothing, because you're everywhere and doing everything, but it all manages to come together, even when it doesn't seem like it's going to,
Right.
or
Right.
something doesn't fall into, and you just. And I'll be honest, I mentioned this. I've mentioned this before. One of the most amazing things about you, and I'll say this on the air now, is your walk with God is amazing, and I'm not afraid to say that.
Yeah.
In the stories that you've shared, but the impact on my life that you've had, to a vital standpoint of realization, even in my own life, of going, how can I get there? And we talked about lifting each other up before, but you don't just lift up, you help carry through. And I said that last night, and I meant every word of it, but that came through a realization of, wait a minute, it's past that. It's not just, she doesn't just see the problem. She doesn't just diagnose the problem. It's, what can I do, or what can we do, or what do you see to get past this and get here? And I think that's the point where I'm just blown away, going, I weren't ready for that one. You just like, and our other guest as well agreed. I mean, it's an amazing thing, timing. I last night I was blown away. I got to be honest.
Yeah. I don't think you expect some of the things that I don't think either one of us do. It's just conversation takes us there, and something could be spoken that trigger something else or bring something else up that's valuable to the conversation that we were already speaking on. And the conversation, you was talking about your guests and not showing up or not being able to make it, and calling on me. I'm like, woo, but I got you, DJ. Whenever I'm available, if I'm available, not doing anything, or sometimes I drop what I'm doing and say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna help them, because I've done that.
A lot of times, and that's the amazing thing. I was searching for something, because I said, man, my guest threw me for a loop, Miss Winnie. What am I gonna do? I said, look, things happen, I said, let me call my mama. That's the first words I said. And what God had in store for me at that moment. Oh my word. I'm baffled. I'm baffled at the conversation because it was so amazingly powerful. And one person didn't even say that much, but it was like three people on the same wavelength going, how did we get to this?
Mm-hmm.
Like your story, and I've heard a lot, your story is powerful, it's riveting, it's sad, it's happy, it's growth, it's how in the living blue blah blee did she get through that? It's probably one of the most grab your soul and shake you to the core of stories that I've heard, and I've heard a lot of stuff. And this is why I say people want stuff when they want it. I got to have it now. I got to get it now. What you got to do sometimes is take a step back and wait. You got to. There's three things that I want to mention to, and hopefully God's timing again. Our guest will be here by then.
Yes.
But there's three things with you that I can't figure out, and I've stopped trying really because I said, you know what, God, I'm gonna let you handle it. You know, I look at you. You care about people.
Yeah.
And often I've said, I don't know. She's in everywhere. And you think about it, there's purity in a lot of stuff. You know, you see what God's made in this world. And guys, this is gonna be one of them shows. So y'all just gonna have to bear with me because I'm going there. God makes such amazing things. And your story, to hear it, there are stories that I waited for, particularly one.
Which one?
And you waited. You said, and you thought you had told me.
The yellow piece of paper.
You said, I swear I told you that. I thought maybe I mentioned it, and then you told it. And I'm like, she did it again. There's three things I want to mention. The first one, speaking something into existence. Mm-hmm. This lady over here, and again, this is because, and I'm just, we're both human, so don't think I'm trying to, Cindy, okay, preacher, DJ, Lord have mercy. Don't think I'm trying to get anywhere or go anywhere with this, but I am. When you claim something and speak it into existence, be careful. Because it can have a very positive or a very negative effect. First thing, from the time that I met this red hat wearing lady right over here, I very, very seldom, if at all, and I can think of, matter of fact, I cannot think of one, even in anger or upset. I can't think of one time she's been negative. I can't do it. And I asked her, I had a conversation because I was irritated. I was not at Miss Winnie. I was irritated at myself. I said, Miss Winnie, I don't understand how in the world you do this. You speak positively all the time. And I remember when you say something to Miss Winnie, she listens. So when she speaks behind that, again, relating to that walk with God, what he's done for her, she has a lot to speak positively about through the negativity that she's gone through, but she's never let that bring her down to a point where she couldn't get up. And we talked about that last night too. So that's the first thing. And I'm just, no negative at all. Just for a little bit, can you elaborate on not necessarily where it comes from, but when you decided, or what What made you go, you know what? This negative stuff ain't working. I got to get this out of my life completely. Because you don't even surround yourself with it. Like,
No.
if sunshine ain't in the window, if there's a negative TV show on, if I said something one day, I'll never forget. And I laugh now because she caught me like before. And everything came out of my mouth. I started to speak and she go, no, don't say that. You're going to be okay. Turn it around. Do not give the enemy a foothold. And when she said that, 3 years ago, she said that to me. And I said, how in the world? I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to start, because you got to start somewhere. Even if you got negative stuff everywhere and your garden is full of weeds and your plants are all dried up and not watered, you got to start somewhere. How in the world do you do that? I'm still baffled to this day, not so much anymore. But
You know, DJ, I some years ago, maybe about 7, 8 years ago. No, it was actually before I started Kelly's Choice. So maybe about 10 years ago, it was a gentleman I met, and they owned a facility, a event place, nice, beautiful event place. And one day a call came through while I was in their office. I would go in their office, him and his wife office, and sit there and just go visit them sometimes and just sit there. And a call came through, and it wasn't a good call, but he listened to the whole conversation. And after I got off that call, he said, you know what? That didn't come easy. Your humbleness, because you were so humble. He said that comes over time of going through things in order for you to get to the place you are today. He said that was good. You didn't raise your voice. You didn't get upset. You stayed humble through that whole conversation that could have made you just as angry as everything. And you didn't. And I thought about that thing and I said, oh yeah, it came through a whole lot of years of things and stuff to get me to this position, to get me to where I'm at today. And I'll never forget that. And I am still there today, very humble. I don't allow negativity in my space. If it's negative, it got to go somewhere else, but not in that Wade Wilson space, you know. So it just takes years of me. It took years of me through challenges and struggles. And we talk about struggles. I just read a message that was emailed to me today saying, if you're not going through struggles, you're not going, your success is not meeting you.
Woo!
And I was like, woo, thank you for that email this morning. You know, because you're going to go through struggles because the enemy gets mad. The enemy don't want to see you progress. The enemy don't want to see you get ahead or get forward. You know,
started with technological stuff this morning. I said, not today.
Yeah. You know, so many challenges come through us and through life and things and, you know, family, you know, friends, so-called friends, and, you know, people you try to help, people you work with, all kinds of stuff. So I endured a lot. And I thank God today for just being where I'm at today and being able to continue to move forward in the things that God had. It's a purpose on my life. It's a purpose on my life. And I'm going to keep moving forward in that purpose because God has something great for me. He has to, because it's been too much. It's been too many struggles, too many challenges. I know without a shadow of doubt, God has something for me, something I don't even know, something I don't even know about, but I know God has something for me.
Now you're gonna notice periodically Miss Winnie's gonna say something and I'm gonna smile because every time I live for the day Miss Wilson tells a story. Whenever and every once you'll see me come up like this because I'm waiting till she grabs a hold of something. When she does, I'm back here, and then all at once, I'm up here trying to listen, because I grab a hold of everything. But that right there, and her attitude is part of that. So I've said before, and Grandmaster Jack Darton, 8th degree black belt, has said before, your attitude reflects your altitude. Now, this lady down here, I just brought her in. I had the pleasure of meeting her yesterday, and it was one of them things where you don't have to say a lot to be powerful.
Yeah.
But woo, when you speak. Yeah. And this is the U2 reference I was talking about. This is when it said U2 got me. There's something coming, and I don't want to give too much, but there's something coming that is going to be powerful. And when it hits, it is going to affect people in a way that is going to shake your very soul. And that's really all I can say. But I'm honored to have Miss Griffin in with us, and she is so awesome. I had the pleasure of meeting her yesterday. Welcome to the show, and thank you for being here. And I would love just a little bit of background between you and Ms. Wilson, because I don't know how the two of y'all met, to kind of just bring this kind of full circle, because we're talking about, again, there's a time and a place for everything. So this is one of those, I like to say, y'all ain't ready for this one. Y'all ain't ready, because it just got real. Now with the three of us, y'all get your sunglasses and your mascara and tissue and all that, because it's about to be real right now. How would you just kind of share just a little bit about yourself and how the two of y'all met? Could you give us just a little bit of background? Would you mind? Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Let me see. She's not on mute. You were just trying to get to a few technical things, but hopefully get it in just a minute. But these two here, whew, it is powerful. Not quite yet. You want to come out and come back in? I can bring you back in.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna try this again. See, she was just talking about it. The enemy gets mad. He don't want things to go the way. We've had situations with conferences with nothing, technology, everything falling apart, computers not working, batteries down. At the time, Let Go wasn't working. Disability. When I got on this morning, I couldn't get the radio to connect. I said, nope, not today. I said, I'm gonna go on. When there is a message to be delivered, and God intends for that message to be delivered, I'm going to make sure that I do everything in my power for that message to be heard. I told y'all this show was going to be powerful.
That's so very true. So an opportunity came to me in July, and I always wanted to do that. Since 2005, I wanted to go to Bible college. And through things I've gone through in life, and to get a closer connection with God, because I already had it, but I wanted more. And I wanted that in my life. I wanted it just to be able to share more, speak more, so I wanted to go to Bible college since 2005. In July, an opportunity came by, and I said, I didn't even hesitate. I was like, I'm in. I'm going to do this. And I jumped in. And it was so wonderful. I'm so glad I started in the first week in August. And no, I started not the first week, but the second week in August, I started that class and my first term. And when I say that the moment I spoke that, all kinds of challenges came across.
That
all
was
kinds.
that was the week after Kelly's surgery, right?
Right. It was the week of Kelly's surgery.
Mm-hmm,
The week of Kelly's surgery. And I all kinds of challenges, and I felt like I said, what, the enemy mad. He figured all these years she's been wanting this, and now an opportunity came and she jumped in just like that. Oh yeah, I got something for her. So he came at me many times, tried to strike me many times, tried to confuse my mind, tried to throw me off balance, even tried to make me feel like I wanted to quit my class. But thank God for the husband that I have and the connection that I have with God. Between those two, there was no way in the world the enemy could talk me out of quitting something that I longed for. And such a great opportunity came at the time it did, because there's a time and a place for everything.
I remember you said to me, the timing on this couldn't be better. I don't know how God did this the way he did it. And when I heard the first paper, she read probably 2, 3, and I'm like, my mouth dropped, because when Miss Winnie does something and she's committed to it, it's 100% full throttle, all, and that's where we have a lot in common. And I've said this, don't I look just like my mama? I'm trying to tell y'all, that drive and determination. It was her. Was a thesis or
it was my case study. Yeah.
When she read that to me on it was on should you or should you not
divorce or remarriage.
Divorce. And when you're going, and I'm gonna be real, when you're going through something and God places something somewhere, talking about timing, oh God. I literally had to tighten my seatbelt when she read it, because I'm going, hold on, just hold on to the table, just hold on, because you feel it, and it's like, why right then? And then she read the verses that she read, and I'm like, okay, this just got real, because she had to research that.
Yeah.
This wasn't just a paper that you throw together with some Bible verses on it. And her teacher, now get this, watch this now. Her teacher, Dr. Carter. Now you think about that. You think about out there, Dr. Who? She said Dr. Carter. I said, wait a minute. I said, that's my last name. Why in the world God bringing me up here? Like, people tell you things.
Yeah.
And you dismiss it. People tell you things and you dismiss it. You don't think about it. And I'm just so proud that this happened for her, because if there's any way to get closer to God, diving into his word to do something or find something is the way to do it. And I don't think at that time I could pull the phone any closer to my ear, because I was literally just, everything else was boom. And all I could hear was her voice reading that paper. And it was like God was speaking directly to me at the moment she was talking. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, I had a conversation after I got on the phone. I was like, okay, God. I said, you must have wanted me to hear something, because I had to back up for a minute. It's amazing. God's timing is everything.
It is. It really is. It is. My thing is, Corey is such a wonderful person. And, I really thank God for Corey. Sometimes people could pour into our lives, especially those closest to us, could pour into our lives, and we don't want to hear it, right? Because we know they right and they saying all the things that is correct. And you're like, I don't want to hear that. Let me stay in my moment, So he wasn't having that. And I said, I quit. I'm giving up. I'm not doing this no more. He said, he looked over. He was sitting on the couch and I was sitting at the table. And he looked over at me and said, Edwina Wilson, not the Edwina Wilson that I know. She don't give up. She don't give up on nothing. He said, "How you think you got this far because you don't give up?"
Oh.
And he went deep into pouring into me about just saying those words about I give up. And he said a lot of things, and I appreciate him speaking into my life like that. Is reminded me of who I am. Who am I? I'm somebody that don't give up. I have endured a lot of stuff that hurt my feelings, hurt my heart, broke my heart, tried to set me back. Because some people don't care what they say. Some people don't even think about what they say before they say it. Okay? They just say things, and words you can't take back. You can't take back words. And you have to, sometimes in life, you have to just sit there and listen first before you want to reach out or respond back. Because once you say it, that's it. That's it. You can't take it back.
Right.
So Corey is that person that listens to me, and he hears me, and he know how deep I got into Kelly's Choice and the people that I've tried to work with, tried to help, to support, do things with, create things, visions, ideas, and all of that. And one day I got hurt behind it. And I had to sit back and I had to think about that. And I was so embarrassed about that. Now I'm being very real and transparent, okay? I was extremely hurt about that. And I sit back, I didn't share with my husband at all until one day the conversation was spoken about. And when I spoke it to one particular person and my husband. I ain't gonna name no names, okay? But I spoke it to one particular person and my husband, and that person at that time was like, "Wow, you just talked about this?" I mean, this was like 5 months later, 4 or 5 months later, something like that, at least 5 months later. And I told my husband, I was honest. I said, I was embarrassed. I said, because I tried to help. All I ever do is try to help. But then you have to ask yourself, am I supposed to help everybody? Or who am I supposed to help? So now my life is, I want to have discernment about everything. I want to have discernment. I want to know first, am I supposed to help any particular person? Because words can hurt.
But there's also wisdom in that, because when you seek discernment for something, and now listen to this, that it comes from God. When you seek discernment on something, don't let somebody else tell you that's what you're supposed. If it ain't from God and He don't use somebody in it, it ain't discernment. She back. Now they both wearing red. They all mad. Mind blown. So let me just based on what you just said. Let me go back for just a minute. Coming in, okay, I'll make sure we can hear you this time. You with? Are you good?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Okay. All right. So I had asked a question before. Welcome again to the show. And see, devil is a lie. Ain't gonna get us today. Not today.
Not today. Not today.
Could you just give a little bit of background of how you and Miss Wilson met and kind of how y'all two came together? And I'm just looking forward to hearing this because
Okay. I'm so glad you can hear me now.
Me too.
Switch devices. My name is Tamika Griffin. I have been friends with Miss Edwina Wilson. Wait a minute, first of all, let me check back. We met on Facebook years ago. And I don't know how that came about, but we were talking about a book then. And that was years ago. And we lost contact. And then I met her through a mutual friend. We were at a function. And I said, I know you, Miss Edwina Wilson. And we remembered back the conversation years ago about a book. And so ever since then, we've been Archie Awards winners and, just talking all of the time. And she invited me to, I didn't know I was a caregiver until she made me aware of that. And that changed my life, And so ever since then, we talk all the time. I go visit her and her husband. They're my favorite couple. And
she literally say that all the time.
Said it last night.
That's my favorite couple. And a little bit about me. I am a mother of 3 amazing grown children now. Author, speaker, coach. Just doing me. You understand? Just doing me. And I had been saying that I wanted to go ahead and just start speaking and just getting back to who I was. And that's how I made it to this, because I put out a petition. Lord, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? And me and Miss Edwina, we were talking about her book. I always talk about her book so that she would not forget.
And DJ too.
Right. And so this is, I know this meeting right here is not by accident. I do believe what we speak out of our mouth and what we really mean, and when it's the perfect time and when you are ready for God to use you, you will show up. And this right here is amazing. And it's no coincidence that we have on the same colors. That was not planned. But yes, my name is...
I knew I should have worn my red shirt. Tag.
But that gray fits in good with the burgundy and the red. That fits good. Yeah.
Right. I ain't gonna get my tie-dye hat, y'all.
Okay, go ahead, Tamika. I'm sorry. So share a little bit about yourself, Tamika. Or was that what you were doing? That's what you were doing. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
Well, about me, I'm an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bona fide introvert. I didn't know what that really meant, and I didn't know the reason why I was an introvert. And I realized that I enjoy being alone with myself. Not too many people enjoy being alone. And I realized that most of the speakers I know are introverts. And that is, and how I got the realization is this. Introverts take the time out to hear God. We have a king and we can hear. And the only reason why he created me to be an introvert is because I have a thirst for him. I know what he sounds like. Prime example, I'm minding my business last week, called Edwina Wilson, 8:00 in the morning. And I'm like, what? Because I have the ability to hear him speak. And when he does that, DJ, it's right on time. So yes, I'm an introvert. I love my alone space. I can be alone. However, he gave me an extrovert purpose. So therefore, he speaks to me, he talks to me, he leads me, he does all of that. But I'm still a human. I'm a human being. I am a social butterfly, but it's only with the people I like. My circle is small, and like I said, I have 3 children. They're grown. I went through a period of homelessness, divorce, suicidal depression, low self-esteem, molestation, just life. It's life. And so I remember 8 years ago.
I'm sorry, excuse me. For y'all listeners, I'm going to make a disclaimer right now.
Okay.
If you're not ready for personal, intimate transparency, then this conversation is not for you.
Not this one.
If you want real and you want transparent, then this conversation is for you.
I told you this was going to be.
I just want to say that. Put that disclaimer in there because we're going to get deep and we're going to be very personal.
Right.
Okay. Because I feel like you can't tell a story if you don't tell the truth.
Right.
Even if it's something that people don't know, well, now you know. Now you know. So DJ may ask us some questions that none of y'all may not have ever had. I don't care what he asked me today. I'm open for him today. When I told him yes was to everything yesterday. So if he want to ask me a question, because he know a lot. Tamika know a lot. I don't share everything with everybody because it's a time and a place, and for the people, for everything. Okay.
And let me just say one more thing about time. I'm not worried about time today. This is going to go as long as it goes because this right here is needed.
Right.
She said, Ms. Tamika said, this is not by accident. The three of us being here today is not by accident, and I believe that.
Right.
Okay, please continue. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Tamika.
And and what I just shared about the molestation and stuff like that. It takes God to let you know, hey, you need to share this part about your life. It's not embarrassing. Well, there are women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s who have never released a story or told the truth, and they're walking around a shell of a woman, not knowing who they are. And because right now, they may be still trapped in that time period of when it happened. For me, it was 5 years old. And I didn't tell anyone until after my father was dead and gone. But the only time I bring that part of my life up is only to share how you don't have to still be trapped in that little girl body or little boy body. It does not make it you. It's a moment. And so it's for somebody who may be listening, it's time to heal the little girl inside.
Or that little boy.
A great person to tell the truth. I can remember where I was. I was getting ready to leave to go to Atlanta, Georgia for fashion design and marketing at the Art Institute of Atlanta. When I tell you, I heard the devil say, I will kill you before I let you leave. I immediately started choking in the room by myself. No one was home, y'all. Nobody was home. There was like I was being strangled. But remember I said, a voice said, before I let you leave, I will kill you. And I started choking. The only thing that just released me was I squeezed out those words, Lord, help me. And I fell on my bed and I gasped for air. Right after that, I heard the car pulling up and I had a napkin and I said, Mama, I was molested at 5 and 11. And I crawled to her room and put it on her bed. By the time I got back to my room, she read it. She said my color had came back. Nobody could understand what was wrong with me. I was 23 years old. While I was so promiscuous, I was enraged because I had lost my daddy. He died suddenly from a heart attack in front of my brothers. I was enraged. Little girl without her daddy. Didn't ever tell what happened. It was done by his best friend who was an alcoholic. His friend was homeless. My father had a big heart. And he let that man in and he abused me. But that goes to show the devil thought he could have killed me. However, God knew had I not let somebody know what was going on with me before I left to go to Georgia, you would not be listening to me. My mom kept asking the question, what is wrong with my daughter? I did not raise her like this. And when she saw that tear-stained tissue on her bed, she said, oh no, oh no. And she ran and she hugged me. Like I said, however I looked, my color came back because darkness, that secret, was eating me from the inside out. You have to be the one to release all of the pain in your body, all of the psychological stuff. You know, you wonder why people are angry, suicidal, depressed. We're in a pandemic. You wonder why people are going off. And I always say, everybody has a book in them. Everybody has a story. Your story and your life's trials and triumphs are not for you. They are to be shared to set other people's soul free. That's when I started, you know, for years I kept saying I was going to write a book. And it took me courage to put that in my first book, Your Mind's Eye. And when I wrote my first book, you guys, I was homeless with my 3 children, living from house to house. I was living out of Walmart bags. I was in between my mother's home and 2 brothers. And I felt like a bag lady. But it was coming up on my 40th birthday that year, 2013. And I said, I'd be god dang gone if I would allow my 40th birthday to come in here and I not make everything, you know, my book come true. I tried everything, every type of business. But when you get down, you're going to be forced to do what God purposed you to do, to write, speak, and to just uplift the, you know, everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So in my brother's home, I looked at myself one day, guys, and in my brother's house, I didn't recognize who I was. The person you see right now was saying, set me free. I need to be free. Let me go to war for you. In my mind, I said, you know what? I'm going to write my book. I'm going to write the book in 30 days, edit it as best I can because I was an A student in college and, you know, all through school. And then I'm going to publish it. I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. Wow. But I had a pack of index cards, a red pen and a black pen, and an old raggedy Sprint phone. And what I did, I wrote my book out. I wrote a chapter a day. And I finished that book just like I said. When I published it, it was on Create Space. I was so poor. I didn't have the money to buy my own book. But that, when I released it, it became a bestseller. And I'm like, what is going on? What? Because people were buying it. They were buying the book because I was sending my link out to Facebook. And I'm gonna tell you something about that, DJ. I didn't even know how to put the page numbers on the book. It was my story that kept selling. Mm-hmm. It was my story that kept selling. And I was like, what is going on? And then I had commissions coming in. I didn't have a bank account to pull out the commissions. I was like, what is going on? But it was so amazing because all the comments said, you wrote my story. You wrote my story. From then on, I've been an author for 8 years. You keep on writing books, setting free people. You know, your story is meant to set people free. We can't hoard everything. You know, we can't. We get all fat. You know, just fat with word, not doing nothing with it. You know, just let yourself out. For those who listening, I'm thank you for your comments. You know, but to be an introvert in front of a camera, I'm definitely afraid of this part. But when you get mad enough, you know, you say, you know what, whatever it takes, introvert or not, I'm just going to let it ride and God be by my side of that. So that's part of my story. And I thank you for listening. And thank you, DJ.
I'm sitting here in awe because I'm going to say something. You know, it took me almost 15 years when I was molested to say anything.
Wow.
And the fact that you two are sitting here, when I said something on the air, Miss Winnie was part of that. She was part of the group that I was in. The freedom that you're talking about, I'm sitting there listening to you speak, and I could feel that what it used to be, just kind of that inside, like, oh no, not again.
Yeah.
You know.
It's all right.
Get it out, baby.
It's all right.
We said there's a time and a place.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm talking about. Some things you can't prepare for.
Mm-hmm.
You can try to, but
Right.
in that time, that constriction that was held before I said anything, and every time I saw my mom, she would ask me, "What's wrong?"
Mm.
And I remember the moment I was like, it wasn't I didn't have the choking moment, but I
Right.
had that moment of I can't deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
It got so full
Mhm.
here. I said, what's my family gonna do?
Yeah.
Are they gonna reject me? Does this make me different? I kept asking questions myself, saying, what do I do now? But the freeing moment when I let it loose,
Mm-hmm.
it was like a 500-pound weight was lifted off my chest.
Yes.
And again, last night, there's a time and a place for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Boy,
Some people don't want to talk about those things. They feel embarrassed, and it can be, but you have to let it go in order to free yourself and be able to live and go on with your life. Because that thing can hold you bound, restricted. It can just consume you if you're not careful as well.
That part right there.
Yeah.
When you hold it for so long, it does consume you.
Yeah.
Because you hear that voice is saying, no one will believe you. No one's going to listen to you. There's nothing you can do. You might as well not tell anybody. Because you know what? You nasty. They don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They don't want to hear that. What kind of person are you?
Right.
15 years. That set up there. I remember the moment I told my mother. Her first question after she hugged me was, why did you wait so long? There are men and women that are dealing with tragic things inside of them that they've held for so long.
Right.
Because they think nobody wants to know. Don't let the enemy tell you that. You have a choice within yourself. How long you been carrying this? How long you been carrying this burden around? It's so heavy. And you're dragging your feet, trying to get from point A to point B just to get where you got to go.
Right.
You can't even look in the mirror anymore because you don't know who you are. Right. You let this thing take you over.
Yeah.
You can't think, you can't speak, you can't walk, you can't talk. It takes over your whole life.
Yeah.
Until that moment, you set it free.
That's right.
When she spoke, I couldn't say anything because I'm like, whoa. Because I wasn't ready for that. Because it's when it happens to you and you go back for a second, you whoa. It's a stumble. You kind of step, and it's that breathtaking, wait. I said something already. Why is this? Because that's a scar.
Yeah.
And those things that happen to you, those traumatic things, the abuse, the mental, the physical, the spiritual, the words are a double-edged sword. And Ms. Winnie said words hurt.
Right.
But they don't just hurt, they cut.
Yeah.
So now where we are, where the three of us are right now, the realness that we're talking about, you can't hide when it's real because it's there. It's in you.
Mhm.
My own father didn't even know. He still to this day he didn't know.
Right.
Because again, a time and a place for everything. That is so true even here now. And again, I didn't expect it to turn here. But when God is at the wheel and driving the bus, you're gonna go where He wants you to go, whether you're ready to go or not.
Right.
Because when you get there, if He was with you to drive you there, don't you think He's gonna be with you to get out the bus?
He's not going to take you somewhere and not get you out of it.
That
He
part.
take you, he's going to bring you through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
That's what God's going to do.
that's
He's going to bring you
powerful.
through.
Mm-hmm.
But did you hear what she said about the inner turmoil?
Mhm.
When you hold that stuff in, she heard the devil say, I will kill you before I let you leave.
Right.
Inside, I was already dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you hold something for so long that it becomes dead weight, there's a difference between weight on you
Mm-hmm.
and dead weight.
Right.
You think you forget about that?
Mm-mm.
You may for a moment until that image
Mm-hmm.
pops in your head out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the middle of making a sandwich and boom, it hits you in the face and you're like, what the,
Mm-hmm.
where, how? You can't say anything because it's just there.
Right.
That's what holding it does.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with marriages and pornography and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all think y'all ain't
Mm-hmm.
let that stuff go. It will tear
Mm-hmm.
It
you
will.
apart.
Mm-hmm.
And before I forget this, y'all, if I may interject for a second,
Sure.
I knew I didn't know the processes of letting go, but I specifically remember looking in the mirror when I was 23. And I went to the bathroom and I saw myself. I smelled night train. You know what night train is? That's a liquor.
Wow.
Oh,
Night train is a liquor that man drank every day. How is it that I'm a grown woman at 23 standing in the bathroom seeing myself and smelling night train, start in the bathroom, then when I would go in the kitchen and it permeated, nobody could do this, nobody could smell this but me. I believe at that moment. And then the kicker was I babysat my little cousin. She came into my life when she was 6 months. She was by my hip until she was 5. And then one day I was like, I was giving her a bath, and I looked at her and I said, "It's not my fault. I started tripping. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. I was screaming. I started crying, and she didn't understand. What I saw in her, I saw me. I saw myself.
ooh.
Mm.
That's when my life started to spin madly out of control because it's like I woke up, and that's when the rage started. When I realized it wasn't my fault. I was a baby.
Right.
I
Right.
was a baby. He touched me. I was a baby. I was a baby. You understand? I started spinning out of control, but when I got back
Mm-hmm.
home, I kept night train, night train. That's when I know the Lord was like, it's time to let this go. You're going to let it out. I can't nobody free you out of this hell y'all going through but your own self. Nobody's going to see it on you. No, he's not going to allow anybody to see it on you. And it's because you have to unleash yourself. You understand? I can see the remnants of when somebody has not let go. Because I have spiritual eyes, I can see that. I can see a woman when she dresses all up and just tries to hide it. I've gone through it, and because I've done that, trying to make myself look worthy. You know what I'm saying? But for those of you who are dealing with it, and DJ, I don't know when the last time I brought this up, but I do believe God had me go this way for you. I too used to cry when I spoke about it, and it's because it is that I know that feeling being dead inside. How could this happen to me, Daddy? How could you? You didn't see me, crying out for help, but you got to release it. So every time you speak about it, DJ, is healing. I mean, every time.
The thing that you mentioned about it wasn't my fault.
Mm-hmm.
When it after it first happened, it was I was at a babysitter's, and one of the people that were there, I was 12 years old when it happened. 12 years old, held on the floor, raped, and I remember after it happened for so long, I thought, how could this is my fault? Somehow that it twisted. Even though I was held down and I couldn't scream, I couldn't say anything. It was like a silent cry almost.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about dressing up to hide it, I would bathe for days.
Yeah.
Just trying to wash off the dirt.
Yeah.
Because you can't get clean enough, man. And it's like, and the psychological, the first time I told a counselor about it, I remember the look on her face. Because I couldn't speak to a man. I couldn't do it.
Right.
They put me in front of 3 male counselors. I told them, well, let's just say I told them where to go. Not so nice sense. But it broke. I had a female counselor. I was 19 the first time I ever mentioned it to a counselor, but I never mentioned it to my mom until I was 24, 25, something like that. I held it in for so long that I tried to make myself forget it. I tried to bury it so deep, so far, so down. And it took me a while to forgive myself, to learn and let myself be DJ again, because I was never an introvert. I was always out there. I was laughing, playing, but in those moments, there was a closed house around me of concrete that light couldn't hit, but God got through.
Right.
And what did it? That we went to church on Sunday, and I went to the sermon, and I'm like, it was about letting go, and I was like, no, I can't. And I turned on the TV after the sermon, and I heard T.D. Jakes. At 26 years old, I was 26 years old, February 3rd. And there was a sermon on TV, you've got to break through. And I don't know if you ever heard T.D. Jakes speak, but when he gets going and he gets preaching and them 4 little sweat beads start rolling down, he got to talking, and I got to listen. Something inside my spirit started shaking, and I felt clammy, and I felt nauseous, and I felt angry, and I felt happy, and I felt mad. All the emotions in this big old ball just started rolling around.
Yeah.
And when that ball rolls around and T.D. Jakes speak, that one tear. Mom walked in the room. She said, what happened to you? I tried to speak it out. Couldn't.
Yeah.
God delivered a message right then, right there. I kid you not. T.D. Jakes said, if you were a boy that was molested when you were 12 years old, and it, boom, and it hit, I pointed to the TV and I said, that happened to me.
Wow.
Mm.
And the moment that I said it, my mom stepped back. Like, what? Wait a minute, what? There was a moment of everything just stopped.
Yes.
And I couldn't let the words out because it was I was trapped inside myself. You see, and to allow it, God's going when it's time. God's gonna if He has to reach in and take it from you,
Yes.
He will do that. See, that's what this all goes back to:
Mhm.
a time and a place for everything. That is such a valuable statement. When Miss Winnie said that, I was searching for the topic. Little did I know at this point where this topic was going to go.
Mm.
A time and a place for everything, but I want to go back to something you said. Now you talked about night train.
Mm-hmm.
I can't talk about liquor because I didn't smell that, but I could tell you what he smelled like.
Mm.
I can tell you what it felt like. I can tell you what he wore
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because, but I never thought I would be whole because I was in pieces.
Right.
See, it took God to come back in and make me DJ again.
Right.
I never thought I could lose myself at 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you, at at 12 years old is when I accepted Christ.
Right.
And in that same year, all of the tragedy that you look at this circle that comes around, it took me so long.
Mm-hmm.
There was a triumph in
Right.
that. And you know, I can see it on your face. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at this way, you carry something for so long, and Miss Winnie carried a lot of stuff. I mean, we're talking about stuff that you down here and you can't breathe, and you trying to juggle three children and houses and got to get from one place to another. Ain't got no money, ain't got nothing, ain't got a excuse my French a pot to piss in because you lost everything. You cannot say you lost everything until you actually have.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. We about to go, y'all. And to hear Miss Winnie's story, to hear Miss Tamika's story, you got to realize. People say, "I understand what you're going through." If you ain't been through it, you don't understand jack. Sorry, letting you know.
That part.
Yes.
That part. And in reference to what Tamika was speaking and that conversation,
Ooh,
it's a sad thing when children experience that, and it's hard because I hear it so many times, even on TV, where the parents don't believe the children,
Right.
and that's what make it hard for children to even share it,
Right.
or the person threatening them, to not tell it, or the parent, the person, the adult person, or the other person telling that child this is normal. And there's nothing normal about that when you molest a child.
please,
Nothing normal about
yes.
it. And you got so many people out here that put these things in the children's heads
Mm-hmm.
because they're so young and small that they don't understand at that particular point what is right and what is
That's
wrong.
that's your family. Don't say that.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so many circumstances and situations that has happened and come about that can confuse the child, which makes the child one or two things: say something or not say something. then you gotta wonder, is my parents going to believe me?
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't, then where do I go from here?
Right.
How do I
Right
deal
there.
with it from here?
Right there.
You know?
That was the
So
question.
yeah, and it's I hear this all the time, and it frustrates me to hear that, and in my mind, like, how can a parent even ignore that fact? If they're a child, how do you ignore that? How do you ask your child or say to your child, it was your fault?
Mm.
And you know darn well it's not the child's fault. You know this. I'll never understand that part there. And but what I do believe, wait a minute, what I do believe is something between that male person or females. Females do it too. They molest people too. Okay, they do it. So it was either something between the parent and that person that's molesting the child, that the parent could be, the mom could be afraid to admit it, to agree with it, because of something that person may do, hurt or harm either them or the child. And there's so many situations to look at when it comes to that. And how do you fix that? How do you fix it? And how do you move on? And as a child, when they grow up and have to share these things and talk about these things, and now you're hurt. Now you live with this for all these years. How do you tell my story? How do I tell my story? How do I make people believe that it wasn't me? I didn't ask him to come in here and do that, or her to come in here and do that. And my mom don't believe me. How painful is that? How painful is that to even deal with that?
That question right there, what you just talked about. For number one, a child is precious.
Yeah.
For a child to be created and live and make it from the womb to the outside world is step one. And that's a big step.
Right.
But for a child to tell a parent or have the courage to tell, and then they go, that didn't happen to you. You made that up. Where do you go? What do you do? I mean, and something else Miss Winnie said. Females do it too. Let me say one thing just to clear just a little bit of air. In relationships, you hear the man. He did. It was his fault. He ain't do this. He ain't pay child support. Not that you got to pay what you got to pay. I'm not saying that. He was mean to me. He was abusive. This, that, and the other. The man did this. What about
the woman?
Half.
Yeah.
What about? Yep. This is why I listen when she speaks. For moments just like that, the little things that people don't, the click that turns over in your head. Men are abusive and this and that and this, and men did it. The women, there are some psychotic, crazy, wicked type of women.
Unfortunately, it is. Yeah.
And I will tell you, when your child comes to you and says, Mom or Dad or Grandma or Grandpa or sister or brother, listen. Listen, because when they are small, they're impressionable.
Right.
And if you don't help them when they come to you, you can change their life forever, and you can also destroy it if you're not careful.
Right.
That part. Right there. I love my mom to death, both of them. My mom always said, you treat a woman, and I love my mom to death for this, my biological mother. She said, I don't know how you do it. She said, you don't see black, you don't see white, you don't see fat, you don't see small, You don't see blemishes. You don't see warts. You don't see nothing. You treat women as they are. My mom's sitting in the living room, and I'm dating a 6'4" woman, and she up there. And mom said, honey, she could take your chair and hit you with it. I said, Mama, no, she okay. Until that moment, my mama said, how do you do that? I said, Mama, it's what I would want. Why wouldn't I treat a woman the same way? I believe in being honest and precious and fulfilling and communicative and speaking. But what you're not gonna do, chase me around the house with no ice pick. No, you got to go. I say that.
Go.
See, I say that because Miss Winnie also says this at the beginning of this show. She said, "We about to get real. We're about to cover some personal stuff." Mm-hmm. So if you're not into personal story, real, getting down deep, this show ain't for you. I can quote Miss Winnie left to right because I listen to everything she says, and it sticks in my head like a sponge. But here's the other part of it. When you have words that are worth speaking, and they don't, Miss Winnie's words don't just stick, they grab a hold. There's things she said, and I'm gonna tell you, Mr. Wilson too. She mentioned him earlier. He don't speak much, but when he does, it's a and it grabs a hold, and it don't let go for a little bit. That's like 2020. It don't let go for a little bit. But I say this because words are powerful when they are constructive and they are used in the right manner.
Yes.
To lift you up. And look, everybody makes mistakes. Me, Miss Winnie, Miss Tamika, everybody makes mistakes. I get it. But you ain't got to take the hammer and just wham them down in the ground when they make the mistake because they're already down.
Right.
Now, in saying that, I'm going to say one more thing. Everything ain't for everybody. That is probably one of the most valuable. I quote Miss Winnie so much, I have to be careful because when I quote her, I say, look, that ain't my statement. That's Miss Winnie. I ain't taking credit for that. I'm not going to take credit for something my mother said. Let me say that again. I might have confused some people on here. I'm not going to take credit for what my mother said. I'm not going to take credit for what my father said. But when she speaks and it has an impact, she could tell me the sky is red and probably convince me. Because I don't think I've ever second guessed Miss Winnie until I ask her, has she lost her mind? And that's the whole nother. But see, going forward a little bit, a time and place. There can be somebody who loves you who says, listen, I want you to do more. You can get mad. You can get mad if you want to. I see more. You need to do more. You need to push yourself. You need to take 2 classes instead of 1. You need to open 5 social media sites instead of 1. Have you lost your mind? Yeah, okay, go ahead. Tell me how much time I got. Then you turn around and you evaluate your life and you go, wait a minute. How much time do I have? And then you schedule it out. That's the buildup that I'm talking about. We've had our ups and downs. And being here right now, realizing you have 2 choices in your life. You can sit where you're at, or you can move forward. You can't go back. You can try. You can live in the past all day long. Right. But you're not living. You're killing yourself. Staying in your past, all you're doing is killing yourself. You can move forward or stay where you're at. She taught me that. She taught me a lot. Miss Winnie has taught me so much about myself. It's scary. It is scary. But the funny thing about it is when I'm scared of something, Lord Jesus, when I'm scared of something, I got to get up off my butt and be like, okay, I'm scared. So what? Driving the same way. Life is not going to go like this.
Right.
Life's going to go up and down. You can choose to fight or stay where you're at. I am so glad that this show happened the way it happened. Because you cannot tell me that God weren't in this. You can tell me, but he was here. I said to myself, what am I going to do? I called Miss Winnie to get her to be a guest, and then all of a sudden, it changed. And I remember going back on her timeline, her life timeline, because she sparked something and God just went, pow! And it was like, whoa, wait a minute. And I said something last night, and I've said this twice now. She doesn't just lift you up. She helps you to get through. See, we all got leaves out in the yard. Yeah, we get through that you trying to clean the house and you got that one room that's got so much stuff in it. You try to get in there and you got to figure out where to start. I got boxes wall to wall. You in the middle of the room can't get out. That's where Miss Winnie's standing at the door say, come 3 feet this way. Come 1 foot this way. Turn sideways. Now close your eyes and shift your butt and come this way. And you get out the room and you're like, how did I get out of that? With help.
That's right.
Everybody needs help. Sometime, in some way, somehow, everybody needs help. Everybody needs counseling. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. You can't make it on your own. We so daggone stubborn and independent to think we can do it by ourselves. It don't work. Eventually, we're going to need somebody to pray to talk to confide in. And that moment when you find that person, that's the beauty of Edwina right there. Being able to see this enemy trying to play now. You ain't got no place in here. So you might as well just go on ahead and leave right now and stay on out, because we're going to finish this the same way we started it. And see, now I see why y'all are the same a lot. Not the same story, but almost a parallel. It's almost a parallel journey. That's kind of scary to me.
Right.
Because you look at it and you go, wait a minute. You hear that, and I hear your story and the passion in it for wanting somebody to be truly free. There's so many people that are burdened with something that don't need to be.
Right.
And you've changed yourself completely because of allowing yourself to be able to open. You were closed for so long, and to allow that flower to bloom, and to tell that, even today I'm sitting here, and there is a comment that came up, and I've held this comment for a little bit. Tiffany Jackson said that. Yes. It definitely takes over and consumes you. This really hit home for me. I was 9 and I'm now 35, but coming out and telling right away. And the response was, I hope you're not lying. Who responds to the child, the 9-year-old child like that? Miss Winnie just talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
How can you hear your child say something and then wonder if they're telling the truth or not? I mean, I guess there are some out there that do it, but I what do you say now that you're free from this? How do you let someone know how to move on from it that they may have told, but even in myself, because I'm free from it, but there's always going to be little nuances or little pieces that bring it out. Can you completely free yourself from it?
You can, and it takes, when you keep getting reminded, hey, it's time to let it go, time to
Mm-hmm.
tell somebody. God is not going to allow you to rest.
Mm-hmm.
The Holy Spirit will not let you rest,
Mm-hmm.
because if not, it will kill you. You
Yeah.
wonder why so many people are suicidal, enraged, multiple personalities, schizophrenic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's because that demon from a
Holding,
baby,
holding it. Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't set yourself free. You have to tell somebody you trust, who love you, and sweetheart, if in case you hear, I don't believe you, I know it's going to crush, but as long as you get it out your system, as long as you let it go,
Mm-hmm.
that's the beginning of your free ticket. You have to be the one to release it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
Was
can pray it off you. I'm telling you what I know.
mm,
That demon is so secretive. You wonder why it happens to babies.
mm,
It gets you when you're small, and because you live with it, but you can be set free. All you gotta do, I'm telling you what I know because I've done it. God help me. I need to be free. Help me, and it will come. And you have to talk about it, let people know, write it in journals, let people know.
mm-hmm.
Okay? And like I said again, if nobody believes, whoever let it out, honey, you will live.
Keep talking.
You will live, because
Mm-hmm.
it don't happen to everybody.
Right.
And I
Right.
always think, what if that had never happened to me? You can't help nobody if nothing's ever touched your soul. What they always say, whatever happened, God meant it for our good. We are living, breathing testimony. We are His word. How can you set free unless you set yourself free? You
Mm,
have to be that vessel that speaks it. You gotta
Mhm.
speak it, speak. And over time, therapy, you have to get therapy. It's an ongoing battle. But yes, Jay, Edwina, anybody who listening, that you can be set free. Write a book. Write it, put it on paper, okay? Because whatever you have lived through, now, just tell me this: you were, you were molested. You're not molested right now. I'm talking to the person that You're not that boy anymore. You're not that little girl. God has allowed you to live so that you can be what my mama called a hell raiser. I was born. The devil hate me. He hate me. He hate me every time I get up. You understand? But what to you, Miss Tiffany Jackson, baby girl, you can, honey. I'm busy. Hear my words. It does not matter what our parents think, what our spouses think. It only matters what God thinks and what He knows about you. You can live. You you became a grown woman. It's time to set the little girl free. So get in the mirror today and said, I'm done with this shit. Just I'm done with it. Yes, I said it. You got to fireball mad. You got to be fireball mad and just release it. Because if you don't, it's gonna kill you. That's my words for you today. If you don't let it out, it will consume you. All your hopes and dreams will be you just die. And that's the easiest way and the best thing I can say before my iPad died. So, but yeah,
Girl, go plug that yoga up.
Yeah, go ahead. Plug it.
Up. Now, you know what? For Tiffany, you know, a lot of people don't want to go through counseling. Don't want to help, and you should. You should, because you'll be able to share those deep, intimate situations with them, which will help relieve you of that pain that you consumed for so long in the relationship. And even if you never have another relationship with your mother or whomever was involved in it, at least that relief is for you. And even if you go to your mom one day and you say, listen, Mom, I'm sorry. You're not sorry because what happened to you, happened to you. You're sorry because your mom didn't believe you. You know, it's a vice versa thing, but it will relieve you. And sometimes when you're saying that to the other person, they will get confused. But they would think about it. They would definitely think about it. Why is she confused? Why is she thanking me? Well, you thank her because it's going to help relieve you.
That's a great point.
It's going to help relieve you.
That's a great point.
What you don't want to carry is things along the way that have already consumed you. So in order for you to get past certain things, you have to apologize and forgive that other person. Even if you don't want to, even if it was so bad, but if you forgive them, you are able to move on with your life.
That was the hard part.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. It will be hard. You consume something so bad, so tragic as a young kid and helpless and nobody around. And that's when people take advantage of the children. You know, and it's sad that you got these pedophiles out there that does these things and don't care about the next person or how much harm they're doing to the children. It's bad.
And let me say this, Tiffany. I'm so proud of you for being on this show today and having the courage to comment and to be part of this show. You've taken a big step within yourself.
Yes, that's deep. You know, and I was thinking that, you know, her coming out and sharing these things, that was me. I was that person. I dealt with that. I've been through that. And now look at my relationship. I can't have a mother-daughter relationship because my mother didn't believe me. I didn't ask this person to do this to me. I was a kid. But you rather not talk to me as your daughter? Are you kidding me? Go to your
Mm.
dad and say, Mom, I'm sorry. I apologize. And I forgive you. I forgive you for not believing in me. I forgive you for not even having trust in me as a child. I forgive you. Because as of today, I have to move on with my life. I have to move on with my life as of today. There will be no longer that consumption in me. I'm sorry.
There's a point where you just don't want to carry it anymore
Yeah, let it go.
because
Apologize.
you've carried it so long, and to forgive your enemy or to forgive somebody that did something to you in that magnification, that's hard. That is probably one of the hardest things you may ever have to do. But something that Miss Tamika said, if you don't let it go, and if you think of this as a weed that keeps coming back, and every time it comes back, it gets stronger, and it wraps around your neck. That's what she was talking about. It will kill you if you don't let it go.
Yeah.
And I something that she brought out in my molestation that I didn't think about. It never even occurred to me. I thank God that my mother believed me. But in my head, that was the number one question that I asked myself over and over and over before I said one word about anything. What if they don't? What if she doesn't? What am I going to do? And a lot of people say, oh, you set that up. No, that was a legitimate, that was right here at the forefront of everything. I was afraid I would be kicked out. I was afraid I would be called a certain name or a certain title. And it was so deep that I couldn't breathe. The moments before I told, I could feel my heart busting out of my chest because the enemy was trying so hard to bury it down to where I wouldn't say anything for another day. But that could have been another day too long. I am so proud of you that you came out with this and shared this with us today because this is the first step to the rest of your life right here. And
You know, great show, DJ. Let me say that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but as you saying this to Tiffany, I'm with you, totally with you on her speaking this. Yeah, right now, comments, everybody can see it. That actually goes to show you're sick and tired of it, and you needed that relief today. You needed that. Now you just need one more, and that's just to forgive your mother and forgive the person that did that to you. Because once you forgive both of them, in God's eyes, because He already know you were innocent, so you were already good. But in order to go through with the rest of your life, just forgive them. Forgive them.
forgive them.
Truly, deep in your soul, forgive them, for they know not what they have done to you. Forgive them and go on with your life. Help the next person out there. Share your story and help the next person out there.
Guys, I really, I look at this and I tried to get the radio up and I was hoping that everything would work the way it was supposed to. And I look at this show right now and I'm literally in awe, just on Facebook Live, how amazing this show made me feel. I cannot thank Miss Winnie enough because Miss Winnie asked me to bring Miss Tamika on, and at first I didn't catch it. When she said it, I said, "Huh?" And then I went, "Oh." You meant bring her on the show. When you were getting your laptop set up, I'm not even sure if you were able to hear or not. I said you and Miss Tamika are a lot alike in the sense of what has happened to you. Not the same story,
Right.
but the two of you run a parallel line next to each other. Now, Tiffany, you said something here. My husband is probably sitting here wondering why I'm just crying. He's so supportive, but I'm all broken up and he still loves me. Listen, let that emotion go. Don't hold that. Yes, he does love you because you are worth being loved. This is the breakthrough that I'm talking about, people. This right
We
here.
didn't even know. This was not planned. The conversation was not planned. We didn't know what Tamika would come with. We didn't know what I would come with or what DJ come with. Because DJ just, hey, my guest not showing up. Can you come on? And then me and DJ conversation went from one thing to another. And I thought about Tamika and I was like, wait a minute, DJ, I need to put Tamika on this line. So let me put her on the 3-way.
That right there.
Yeah.
And when she can't, you ever just feel something like woo? When I talked until my battery was at 4%. Y'all don't understand. I said I don't want to go, but my battery gonna die, and it was so good, and now all of this, all I can say is this: God, man, this you cannot.
Yeah. Yeah. I thank God for this conversation. You know, I'm a firm believer in not everything is for everybody. There's always something for somebody. And thank God today, Tiffany, you was here to listen to Tamika's message. We didn't know what Tamika would talk about. None of us knew what we would talk about at all. But I believe that one thing leads to another in your heart, and God will make that conversation right for someone. And you know, I've always said that the events that I have, I always believe there's somebody in that audience that's listening that need to hear one person message. And it could be one person that can lift you up, encourage you, motivate you, inspire you to keep going. Keep going. Pick up from where you were. Think about what you was getting ready to do, how you was getting ready to give up, how you was getting ready to just walk away from something. But somebody up there's story was just as worse than yours, or gave you enough to say, if they did that and went through all of that, and mine's not as bad, but bad, then I need to keep going. So this show here, that's what I believe with that show, with this. Some message is going to touch and have her already touched someone.
Miss Winnie always says when you do your show, it don't matter how many numbers you got.
Right.
And today,
it's a pure fact.
Today, you got to deliver your message with everything that you got, because it's one person, one that you could change. You look at what happened today. What did she say? I don't know when's the last time I brought this up. 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 29 seconds, and I'm in awe. I'm telling you.
Yeah. It's, God is amazing. God is so amazing.
And that's exactly why I came across DJ, even though I don't have CP. I'm wheelchair bound and paralyzed from
chest line
down. Partial arm usage due to a car accident in July of 2012. You are an amazing person, and I've told you before, sweetheart. I've thanked you for being on my show before, but had I known, reach out. I'm so glad that you the time and a place for everything. God, what a
If you want to reach out to DJ and me and Tamika, we could do a 3-way, 4-way. We could get on live. We could
seriously.
talk, chat, whatever. We do that. We would do that for you. If you want to talk more, we can do that. We ain't no counselors. We just talk about experience. Experience is the best teacher. I'm a firm believer experience is the best teacher, but you do have counselors that go to school to learn a little bit more that they can talk about, you know. But a person that has overcome these things, that's experience.
Let me send you the link, sweetheart. Let me send you the link. Hang on a second.
If you want to come on now, you can come on.
I meant this. I'm
Set it up like that though, DJ.
well. I meant, but what I'm saying is, if you want to, we're here. You don't have to. But again, I'm proud of you because of what you've done, and you're. That's what I intend the shows to be. This is the realest show I've ever came across. Go ahead, Miss Winnie. I'm gonna send this just while and see if she wants to get in or not. If she does, she can. I'm gonna just have
I just really wanted to say that experience is everything, and I do Kelly's Choice because I've been a mom to my daughter for 35 years. Well, it'll be 36 years next month because Kelly will be 36 in December. So you talk about challenges and rewards, because that's how I put it. Challenges is challenging and it's rewarding. Challenges because there will be challenges. There are going to be challenges. My daughter can't walk by herself. She needs assistance walking. She needs assistance getting in and out of the bed, to and from the toilet, to and from the tub, shower, wherever you want to call it. She needs her meals cooked. She needs her plate fixed. She needs help with some foods, and some foods she don't. She needs help getting dressed, undressed. She needs help with her hair, her jewelry, looking cute, her shoes. She needs help with making her bed up, getting in her room. Have I named everything? Because she needs help with doing all of those things. And I've been doing this for 36 years come next month. I don't know what else I can name. I think that's her life. She needs help getting in and out of her wheelchair, in and out the car. What else can I say?
I got one, but I just, you probably know the one I'm talking about.
You gotta wipe her tail, her butt when she used the bathroom. Okay? I gotta wipe her butt. I gotta do that. I got to clean her. Can you imagine some adults that live with this condition or any other type of condition that they need help from their parents and nothing is wrong with their mind, but they need their parents to help them, bathe them, to get them in and out the tub, shower, bathroom, all of that. But they need the help. So you have to be real. It's some things in life. It's not feeling like everything is a secret and you gotta hide. It's life. It's reality.
Amen.
And if you got a disability that you need help, it is just that. Get the help you need and stop feeling like you don't want this person to look at this or this person to be a part of that. And if you don't, then what? You're stuck. And you need help, but your pride is in the way.
Right. That right there.
And you should not allow your pride to get in the way of you needing help when you have a disability that's challenging to you, where you know you need help. Because it could cause so many more problems.
There's a freedom in the realization.
Yes, it is.
Because I don't know where this stereotype came through, but I don't need it. I'm the pride, just like Miss Winnie's talking about. Get past that. Get past that, because there's more to it. Let yourself be free from that. Stop thinking you can't ask for it. Look, I can't reach my foot. Okay, I got a little something in the way. I'm working on that. But if my foot cold and I need my sock on, excuse me, little help with my sock. Man on the car, can you thank you. I mean, look, you got to come in relationship with yourself. You understand? It's okay. Everybody needs somebody to lean on at some time in their life, and it's all right. But if you don't acknowledge it here and here, you're going to be trapped for the rest of your life, because you're going to continue the downward spiral.
Yeah.
And then wonder why you're not. But I want to say one more thing, because I know we're getting on the 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
Again, I'm sorry we couldn't get on the disability broadcast today, guys. We'll get you next week on that. But please listen to me right here, because I want everybody to know this, and I want everybody to pay attention right now. Don't be silent. If something is happening to you, if you are being mistreated, okay, if you're being verbally abused, mentally abused, physically abused, sexually abused, there are so many different types of abuse. Do not be silent. Okay, you have heard stories today of people being silent till they were 23. Okay, I was silent for almost 16 years. Speak out, because somebody is going to listen. Somebody will hear your cry. And to echo what Miss Tamika said, get your story out there. I am waiting for the day that Miss Winnie puts that pen to paper, and it comes. Because I'm telling you, I'm buying two copies, one for each eye, because I don't want to blink and miss nothing. When a story is so powerful that it literally grabs your very soul and shakes you to the core till you can't shake no more. There's something involved in God Himself and you. There is a connection somewhere. But if it's inside of you and it doesn't get out, nobody is going to know. Tiffany, I'm going to read this because this right here is powerful. I was waiting on this. My husband has, let's see. Yes, my husband has and does every day for 9 years now. Not anymore in my family. Not any of my so-called friends. At the time, boyfriend, and almost 3 years after, with all the triumphs and trials of my life, he still chose to make me his queen. I am definitely appreciative of him. That's the good story of the men in their life they're supposed to be.
Yes.
See,
yes.
That right there, and you talk about Corey Wilson, you talk about, you look at the moment when Miss Winnie came up, she wanted to give up. I said, everybody has those moments where they want to break. I can't take no more. Done messing with me all this time. I'm not doing this no more. Slamming stuff on the ground, knocking stuff over, done slamming your papers down, can't figure out. Done lost your notebook, can't find it, look everywhere. I ain't doing this no more.
Mm-hmm.
And what did Corey do? turn around and say, huh? What?
Yep.
You, Edwina Wilson, you don't give up. Sometimes you got to turn it and put it in a perspective that they don't see.
Yep.
I told you earlier that Miss Wilson had three things, and I commented on the first one. But let me tell you the next two, and I want you to hold on to this. Everything that Miss Wilson has gone through, everything that Tamika has gone through, I'm including her in this conversation as well because these are two peas from the same pod. Her wisdom. Just because someone tells you something that you don't like doesn't mean it's not going to help you. That's number two, her wisdom. Her and Corey's wisdom have helped me through so many things. And number three, and this is why, okay, I stayed strong through this whole show. Daggone it. to understand a mom, Miss Winnie has a choice every day. She has Kelly that she has to take care of. She has children that are, some are grown a little further up, some a little further down. She's got grandchildren, internet children, all people. I can honestly tell you, there's not many times where I picked up the phone and she hasn't answered. When you have somebody that has an available ear, it does something for you here. When you have the that outlet that you can go to as a sounding board, that you can say, Miss Winnie, Miss Tamika, I don't understand this. I'm frustrated. This, and you get it out, and then they go, well, let's see if we can't change that. And you think, oh Lord, here we go. It is so valuable to have that listening ear. But I'm gonna shut up for a minute because I want these two ladies to close out. And Miss Tamika, Tiffany asked, she wants the link to your book because she wants to read it. So if we can maybe put that in the Facebook comments to where she can get to it, or if you share that. Would you two ladies, if you have any final thoughts, I've talked enough.
I'm gonna share something.
Can you hear me first?
Yep,
right?
we got you.
Oh, good. Okay.
I said I wanted to give up, right? And my husband spoke to me. You don't give up. So, okay. So this is, that's me. That's the class. And you see that? Because I didn't give up. You see that 4.0 right there? A plus. 4.0 A plus. That's what I ended with. I was not giving the enemy the glory. The only glory that gets, God gives all the glory. All of the glory. Because he's brought me through so much. So much. Illnesses, sicknesses, homelessness, losing stuff, divorce, bankrupt, you name it. But he's been so good at the same time. See, when people do you wrong, I'm not that person that go for revenge. I give it to God. I ain't gonna say I ain't never felt like I wanted to. I'd be lying if I did. Yes, I have. Sometimes it felt like, I just want to, you know, and I just want to, but I never did. I remember one situation where I felt betrayed, and Tamika know this. She know this part. Yeah, I was betrayed by someone I thought was my friend. And this person went on Facebook messaging people, not knowing who is my friend, and not going to receive that. Okay? So when I wanted to latch out. God wouldn't allow me to. He just didn't allow me to. But one thing I never did, each person that came to me and told me about the message that they got, I never once asked that person, what did they say? I don't know to this day what they said because I did not ask.
And didn't want to know and don't want to
didn't
know.
want to know. You know what? I was already hurt to the fact that you felt it was okay to do that. And I said, you know what? Okay, as much as I want to, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So I let it go. I just let it go. But I say that to say, anything I share with DJ, I always got proof and facts of things that I say to DJ. I just don't talk to be talking. When I share these things with DJ, I share things that's dear close to my heart, things that I've gone through. Because even though he know a lot, I don't know how much more that maybe one day he can help somebody else. One day one of the stories come up that somebody say something resonate. Wait a minute, Miss Winnie, such and such and such, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's good to share your stories and your challenges and struggles that you have dealt with in life and overcame in life. And recently, you know, I've dealt with a challenge that kind of took me by storm and surprise at the same time. You know, I still don't know how to not receive it. I still don't know. It just blew my mind. Let me say that. It just really blew my mind. So it took a year for me to get to this point of hearing the actual doctor say something to me. Is where I'm at when I'm saying, like, God, how do you receive that? How do you just, like, you hearing your doctor say these things that doctors don't normally say to you? Am I a believer? Do I believe in miracles and all of that? Doctors don't do that.
That's not just a doctor, that's an angel from God.
It was truly God, that's for sure. It was truly God. That was, you know, I'm just saying, a year of fighting, and to get to Friday just past last week and hearing all of the conversation from Friday, my mind is still blown. Just really still blown and grateful. And just so grateful to just hear this doctor come to me and say all these things. Am I a believer? Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a Christian? Yes, absolutely. Do you believe in God? Do you believe in miracles? Yeah, I do.
Do you remember? Miss Wilson? Just to touch, just a little bit on this. I said to you, go back. How many times you put off that appointment? Remember that we talked, and he said I wanted to take the time. Took a little longer, but I wanted. Listen to this now. I wanted to take the time to make sure I got what I needed to get out. How many doctors we got in society now? 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, next patient. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 next patient. How many doctors take the time to ask you, do you pray? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in miracles? I wanted to take the extra time to get it all out. Everything looks good. See you in 5 years.
I'm healed, right? So I'm healed, right? So it's like, he said that? Now don't get me so emotional, and we ain't got to year 2 yet. You know, like, look, you firing me up at the same time and making me emotional, and I gotta go under.
Okay, we about to put it in.
And just a blessing, a blessing, a blessing, a blessing, a blessing. I know I don't share a lot of things. Not everything is for everyone, and there's a time and a place for everything. as DJ mentioned, yes, I may be doing a lot of things, and I have my daughter to take care of. And, my husband said to me, he said to me, I'm gonna let you hear something, because he's so great. He's so great. He always throwing that wisdom at me, and that knowledge, because he will listen, and he will give you his word when he want to. But what he don't like to see is me sitting back sad, or sitting back, with thoughts that, could possibly hinder me, or he will lift me up. So I'm going to share this real quick, because I want you to hear what he said. Well, okay, here it is. We were in the car. Okay, I passed it. Hold on. Here it is. Hold on a minute.
I mean, I know it may feel like a private moment, but you'd be surprised how many more people you galvanize with something, because then they see you like them. They already, they see you like them, but then you really can put that. I not only go through that every day, but also have to fight this battle. And by the grace of God, I came out victorious.
Did y'all hear that?
Yes, I did.
I was in the car. We having a mind. I said, shh. As soon as I did that, that's when he started speaking. And he let me know, listen, this is a private moment. But everything ain't got to be a private moment, basically. You don't know who you can galvanize. You don't know who you can help. You just don't know.
That's right.
So he said to me later that day, one day you need to share this.
Mm-hmm.
You need to share this, because you don't know who you can help.
That's right.
And you are a miracle. You are a miracle. You are.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't know how you want to look at it, but yes, Winnie, you are a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God for you listening to God last year when you say, I got to schedule this appointment. God spoke to me. I need to schedule this appointment. I put it on. Then COVID came. Then they canceled. And it was just like, oh, I got to get in there. That next time they call me after they figure things out in their office, who ain't turning it away? Me? Because God said I need to get in there.
You better
So
go.
what are we talking about? You want to talk about it, DJ? Go ahead and share it. And we could close out with my conversation, and then Tamika could close out, and we could leave it right there.
Now this one all you, Miss Winnie. I'm letting you share this. No, I'm
That's
not.
right.
The only thing I'm gonna say.
Let me say this, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead on and I'm gonna say it. So last year, 2019, I put off having a colonoscopy. I put it off. Just put it off. 2020, God spoke to me. You need to have this colonoscopy. You got to have this colonoscopy.
Mm-hmm.
I called the schedule. COVID came. They called and rescheduled. Well, they had to close it out, period. Because they had to figure out how they was going to operate in the office, how they was going to figure things out in the office, change things, and all of that. So they called me back and rescheduled an appointment. I ain't canceling nothing, because I already got my message. You got to do this.
Right.
You got to do this. You got to have this colonoscopy. So I went in last year, July, had my colonoscopy. As I was waking up out of being, I call it put on the, y'all know what I'm talking about now. As I wake up, I can see the doctor pacing my floor, pacing the door. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why is he pacing the door like that? So I said, let me just sit up so he can know I'm awake. I'm going to show him my eyes are open so he can come in and talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
His words were, is your parents living? Yes. Do you have siblings? Yes. Do you have children? Yes. Basically, all of them need to go get a colonoscopy, and they need to get it. Okay? That's what he said. So he said there were some polyps in there, and I had to remove them. The results won't be back for another few weeks, so we'll call you and let you know, or someone will call you and let you know the results. That was the end of that. That's it. In 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks, I receive a call. 3 weeks. I receive a call. 4 weeks. I tell DJ, like, I said this last year. I said this was the last year. You know, so, but this was a little while after because I didn't talk about it for a while. I had to let it sink in and be able to talk about it so I wouldn't worry because I didn't want to worry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to worry about it. So the conversation went as cutting through some things. There were some polyps that the doctor found. The doctor was able to remove all of the polyps. However, there are certain polyps, and I'm going to name them and tell you about each one. And I'm thinking, can you just get to Edwina's polyp? You know, and let me sit here on this couch and be in the calmest mode I could ever be in. Because when she said that, I was like, what you got to say? You know, so cutting through her conversation, she said the polyp I had was cancerous. But the doctor got them all out. I don't need chemo. I don't need no type of treatment or anything like that because the doctor removed all of them. If my doctor called me, if my primary care doctor called me and say, you need to have treatment, no, you don't. It's gone. You don't need treatment. If your doctor called you, Mrs. Wilson, and say you need treatment, no, you don't. I'm saying this because this is what she did. She said it to me several times so I can get you don't need treatment. They're gone. However, you do need to go back every year because it's a possibility that they can go back. We don't want them to. And let's hope that we don't have to, see you every year. You don't have to come back. Hopefully they're not there next year when you come back. So the conversation ended. I sit there on that couch and I was like, I ain't saying nothing. I ain't gonna open my mouth. I need to get it in and ask God to help me with not worrying because I don't want to worry about it. So I had to pray and I had to go into deep prayer and I had to learn how to not worry and not let this thing bother me. So I was able to talk to my husband and my children and my parents and my siblings. So I could tell them, okay, now let me tell you why I made that phone call to y'all. Because, well, why are you saying this when I'm just telling y'all what my doctor said? And that's all I said. That's all I said. So this year, last Friday, I had my second colonoscopy. The doctor comes in, and that's, as we were saying earlier about asking me, do I believe in God and, all this kind of stuff. And, he went on to say, there was one huge polyp and several small ones, but I got them all out. I was determined to get them all out.
Take the time to get them all out.
I was determined. He said it took longer, but I was determined to get them out. I was not going to, in my mind, I couldn't let you walk away with that. So it made sense of him saying, do you believe in God? Do you believe in miracles? But he's saying all this before I go on this for the second one. Okay, don't let me get nervous. Don't let me, get all these feelings and stuff like that. So I had my colonoscopy and I come out my colonoscopy and I wake up and my doctor comes past there. He says, you're healed. There is not a sign of a polyp at all. Not one sign. I'll see you back in 5 years. I said, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. My husband says, having to deal with Kelly every year, every day, year after year, day after day, month after month, seconds after second, minutes after minute. I think you got another battle you got to fight. He said, you didn't talk about it. You didn't say anything about it. But I know you thought about it. You had to have thought about it. Your grandfather died of colon cancer. It's hereditary. So if you have someone in the family who have certain diseases, it's a possibility that someone else in the family can get those things. So yes, absolutely. I thought about it here and there, but at the same time when those thoughts came in, I quickly went to God. Because I didn't want those thoughts in my head because the enemy is so mean. He don't care. He's vicious. He will try to confuse you. He will do so many things. But I had to believe that because they said that it was removed, I had to believe when I go back next year, there ain't going to be any. That's what I had to stick with, not knowing what the results would be. But I had to stick with that and believe it and hold on to it. That's what I had to hold on to. So my book, I said all that to say, because Tamika said last night when DJ got off the phone, we were still talking. And she said, Winnie, Edwina, she said, God gave you a last story. Not a last story, another story. But to me, I think it sealed that moment. So now let's go on and finish this book because there is going to be another book. It's going to be a great book, another great book, but it's going to be so different. The book is going to be so different than the next book. So let's go on and finish this book that you started already. DJ will call me, Miss Winnie, you got to do this book. You got to do these God stories. Man, you don't even understand. I be thinking about those things like, how do she get connected with God like that? How do she, like DJ said earlier, I want that.
I asked her that question.
Yeah, you did.
Because I was, at first, I'm like, I gotta have it. Because she can claim something and boom. And I'm like, wait, what? How did you get the, when did you get the, what the, Miss Winnie, go ahead. I'll go ahead. I'm just.
It's fine. So I am delivered, healed, free of colon cancer. To God be all the glory.
Praise God.
And I'm a soul believer, true believer that in life, when you go through changes in life, struggles in life, losses in life, things in life, that God sees you. God knows your heart. He knows what you're doing. He knows how you're going to respond, not respond. He even watching when you do respond. Because there has been so much. I just truly believe God continues to bless me. Because I don't go after people.
Every moment.
I let God handle my battles. I do believe that God will handle your battles. And that's enough for us to see or know when he does it. Even though we want to know. But it ain't for us to know. Sometimes we don't even know what God's going to do for us next. The blessing he got for us next. We don't need those. We don't even know those things. But thank God for healing. I'm so blessed. I'm so darn blessed.
The amazing part to me, and I want to say this because I want you to hear this. I didn't say this last night, and I should have, and I apologize. But I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. As we were reflecting back on your timeline, and we were looking at how many times I said, you may have fallen, but God didn't let you fall. God caught you before you hit the ground. You're not just protected and covered by God. You're a soldier of the God, of a person that God wants you to be. You understand what? All of this stuff, all these blessings that you got, you look at your life, right? You go down here, God with you. You go up here, God with you. You go in between, God with you. And all this, your life is just doing. But when God blesses you, see, when you put him first.
Yeah. God first in everything. I always say that.
I couldn't even finish the statement. She took it. I asked Miss Winnie, and I'll be honest. I'm gonna be very, 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 very honest for a minute. I was jealous. I said, Miss Winnie, I want that. How do you get? Wow, I was mad. I'm like, how in the world this woman get? She got to do what the? I sat back for a minute, and she said, "In all that happens to me," she said 3 words: I trust God. A stillness came over me. He said, "You wanted to know, boy. She just told you." I said, "Ooh, ooh." It shook me. No. When I say it shook me, my chair was at my desk. When I look down, my chair is 5 feet back, and my chair ain't on. You got to understand, Miss Winnie is impactful because she puts God first. What's the verse say? Be still and know that I am God. That is one thing that ever since I met Miss Winnie Wilson, I trust God. The other day, I could not sleep last night. I said, Lord, I got to go to bed. It's 5:30 in the morning. I made my flyer. I'm dancing around, trying not to drink nothing. I said, Lord, I need to go to sleep. I cannot sleep. I need you to put me to sleep. Gone. Out. I was so excited for this moment. And I get it. I get it. I can honestly say I haven't always put God first. And I'm being real.
Right. It's okay.
I didn't know how. Like because when we get involved in stuff, that stuff often takes priority over everything else. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And Weena said, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Wait a minute. Before I say something, let me step back and let me figure out what God wants. Let me sit and be still and wait and not open my mouth. See, that's hard for me. This flap. But when I'm quiet, ain't very often, but when I'm quiet, I do hear. And I understand where she is coming from because I look at her life. Everything from Kelly to homelessness to the Mazda 626, y'all don't know. Yellow piece of paper, y'all don't know. Book coming out, y'all don't know. It is when you trust God. That is my car. We'll get to that. When you trust God with your whole self, that is when He will bless you beyond comprehension. And He has done that to that lady sitting right there. And I know it because she has shared with me how. And at the end of the story, my mouth is down so far, I got to pick it up and roll it. That is why when she writes this book, the world has to buy it. I said, when this book gets put on paper, something is going to happen. You cannot be a good storyteller, but allow the story to come out and just her stories. I'll be asleep, drool coming down the side of my face, big old pile of what here. And all of a sudden, I'll wake up and I will feel something. And I do go to do something, and God will say, "Call Miss Winnie." I said, "Lord, it's 2 a.m. Call Miss Winnie." Boom. And she will say something. I was struggling one night. I remember I could not sleep. And something was on my mind. I remember. I said, "Miss Winnie, I don't know what to do." She said, "I want you to pray for peace. Ask God for discernment and peace." And what did I do? I spoke to her for about 20, probably more like 45 minutes. And then I got I got off the phone and I prayed. I said, Lord, I don't know why this. It was a situation with my mother, and I know what the situation was. And I was struggling with it. I said, Lord, I need peace in this. I can't. I'm going every which direction. And I closed my eyes when she was talking. And by the time I had hung up the phone, I said what I needed to say to God. I woke up next morning. I said, dang, I didn't know it was like that. That's when you realize a connection that a person has with God, anybody can have it. But what you've got to do is you gotta understand that God is in control of everything. Everything. You got when she says give it to God, she doesn't give it in part. A lot of people will give it and then try to take it back. I mean, I've done that. God, I'm gonna give you this, but if you can just make it this way, no. You said you were gonna give it to me. Give it to me.
Take your hands off.
And that's the hard part. But Miss Winnie, and that's what I think. Matter of fact, I want to say this. I know that's why God has me in her life, because if I follow Miss Winnie, who is Christ-like, I'm doing what God wants me to do, and everything else, I ain't worried about nothing else. I ain't worried about nothing else because God has got me. He's had me. He's carried me all this way. He brought Miss Winnie to me. Y'all understand this? He brought her to me. Boy, I didn't even realize that till just now. I just said that, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's more than a connection. When you have God in your life, when He surrounds it, when He's not just in front of it, when He's around it, the whole life. Ain't nothing He can't get you from. Cancer, homelessness, no car, no food, all of that. Look at how many times you've been down here. And God still, hey, I'm still with
You'll
you.
bless me. That's why you got to keep God first in spite of. You can't go against people that come against you. You can't try to backlash and do all those things. Where is it going to get you? And what is it going to do? What is it going to do? Not a darn thing, but make you even madder. Okay? Create more problems. So sometimes in life, we got to learn to shut up. Just shut up. Period. We got to learn that. Just like that, shut up. I've said it on my personal page more than enough times. Sometimes we got to learn to shut up. We're quick to want to respond without thinking. I'm so glad that I don't. And I've learned that because of my struggles and the things that I've gone through. That's book 2. Book 1 is my God stories. And I'm going to be working with my great friend Tamika right here. We talked about this years. Tamika said to me, like, okay, Edwina, you need to do this book now. Like, seriously. So, Friday sealed book 1 of my God stories. Friday sealed book 1 of my God stories. And I promise Tamika and DJ, I will write that book and it will be out by 2022.
I'm just going to write it down real quick.
Deep in my spirit right now. It's so deep in my spirit because God has been so good to me. I bought a brand new car in 2019. Brand new, August 2019. Turn around 2021, bought another brand new car because I wanted it. And guess who blessed me? God. Once again, we got to trust God in all things and keep God first in all things because you never know when you will need God to bless you.
Listen, y'all. Listen.
You never know. I'm a firm believer, and true believer in what God can, will, and has done for me.
Does.
That's done for me. And trust me, I've been through some stuff. People have talked about me. People have betrayed me. People have came at me in certain ways. What did we do? I let God handle it. Did I want to? Heck no! I wanted to. But where was it going to get me? What caused more damage? So I let God do it.
This is not my battle.
It ain't my battle. And the Bible says that. It's not my battle. Give it to God. He can do it way better than we can. Way better than we can. So that's my story. I just want to end, that ain't my story, but that's where I want to end it with. That this Friday, last Friday past, sealed book one of my God stories. Tamika came out of nowhere, called me one morning last week. DJ calling me, Miss Winnie, when you go get that book. You know, so it's like, okay, this is a confirmation.
My hand was on the sensor. I thought you were going to go there, Miss Winnie.
This is a confirmation. Both of them came out of nowhere and said, listen, it's time. Tamika woke me out of my sleep. I sound like a man. Y'all, bro, hello. Oh, you still sleep? No, I just sound like a man. That's the whole thing is she called me this early. I needed to listen. I needed to listen. So it was nothing in me, even at that moment. Even if I did just wake up, or even if I was just laying there, she called me early in the morning for a reason. So I had to listen. And that's what I did. I listened to everything she had to say. And she kicked my butt, okay? She kicked my butt. I'm good this time. She kicked my butt, okay? But sometimes we need friends like that. We need people in our lives that will come to us in real conversation and let reality hit you. That's when you got to know and you got to learn constructive criticism versus criticism. Okay? Because as a friend, she came at me in the way that really blessed my soul when it could have took me another way. DJ come at me and I'm like, okay, he means well because it's the truth. I need to get this out. I need to get it out. And last Friday, that literally sealed the deal. It sealed it. It sealed book one. And that's all I got to say. And thank you, Tamika, because we're going to be talking. My husband already told me a couple of days ago, take your computer back in your room with you. You already set it up where you can speak to text. So start speaking and let your computer do the words for you. That's what he told me last week. Because when God saved you, you're healed, bro. You ain't got to go back to the doctor for another 5 years. You do not have colon cancer. That God removed all of those cancerous polyps out of you. Every last one. You didn't need treatment or nothing. Live your life, bro. And now it's time to tell your story. Whatever been holding you bound, whatever made you feel like you couldn't do it, or you didn't want to do it, or you just didn't start, let it be now. And these two. I'm done. All right, your turn, Tamika.
Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. I have enjoyed this. And like I said in the beginning, I had already written down that I needed to just do more, just talk more, you know. And here it is, unexpectedly, you know. And so all of the other invitations for me to come online and talk and let people see me, I had been running for years, just running for years, you know. Not, you know, because, you know, a lot of times we say that, no, my story's not good enough. Well, wait, let me get to a certain point in my life, you know, before I do that. You're relatable right now where you are in this moment, you know. And me calling Miss Winnie last week, I don't even remember some of the things I said because it did not come from me. I heard and I obeyed. Okay. Even this whole show had nothing to do. We're just vessels to be used. And so, and I was like, why am I talking about this on this day at this time, not knowing that DJ had already lived most of what I was talking about? And that's why you have to stop overthinking and get out of your own way. Okay. Today, you're going to get me because I know I'm supposed to be preaching, but I'm scared I might cuss. That's
I got a
real.
sense of you, all right.
DJ gonna beat you out.
That's real, and I know before my phone went dead or iPad went dead, I was talking about, you need a therapist. I will say this, you need a therapist who understands what you've already gone through. Because the therapist I did have, I made her mad. Because I know what I went through. But do you? I asked her that question. She got mad. And she said, well, this is not about me. And it wasn't about her. I said, well, what you do should already help me. So again, I'm asking you, has anybody ever touched you as a child? She couldn't answer, and I walked out. Now, I'm not saying you should not see a doctor. You understand? But I do believe God will send you to those people who understand. You understand? And even if she hadn't have understood me, God will give you insight on how to help people. Period. If that's what you were born to do. So I want to get that out there. Find somebody who can truly understand you.
Yeah.
Because not everybody can say, anybody can go and be a doctor. But not everybody can really remove or help remove what you have gone through. Because that takes time. It will be ugly. And I always tell people, if you look at your life, where you are right now, you got to do some digging. So it's going to be ugly. It's going to be painful. You're going to cry. You're going to be another person because you have really covered up everything. You've been a counterfeit. I can't say it no other way. If you're not going back into your life, you got to go back in that vault in your mind. And you have to ask this question. What happened to me that I am unaware of? Don't ask the question no more and wait for the answer. Because when I wanted to change, I could not understand why I was so angry, and I asked that question and my mind took me back to that childhood trauma. So that part right there, you have to go back, start reliving and rehearsing. Because when you start writing a book, you're going to go through so many changes. You're going to start remembering things that you thought you had buried. Oh my God, I got to walk away. You're going to have to walk away. But no healing can take place. You understand? I don't care what you go through, how many accomplishments you have, anything. Money don't heal people. God does that. I thought that, okay, got a new car coming, having some great success, still writing books, children are healed. But sugar, money don't heal depression. And I always often ask, would I ever have been depressed or have some type of anxiety had I not gone through that? how would my life what would my life would have been had I not married my ex-husband, who said I was probably be nothing in my life. I know he regret them words. But the thing about this is, you go back and ask, what if I had never gone through those things? Would I be an introvert? Would I be shy? Would my self-esteem be so low? The question is, God carried you through it all.
Yep. Yep.
So you can't, you can ask those questions, but you are the answer standing in front of you.
Yep.
I am who I am because of everything that he brought me through.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So that would be my tip that I always leave with people. Go back to the little girl or little boy you were at 10 years old. That person was your true self. People always ask, how did you get to this part of your life? How do you know how to do this stuff? Where did that come from? How do you just do things? I said, I do things because I trust God. I do things because I know I'm set apart and I know I'm different. I do things differently because I am divinely designed for a purpose. And I can't even, you'll never be able to fathom why God created you. You understand? Here you have an introvert. I struggle to come online with YouTube. I'm like, oh my God, sweating bullets. Because even still, it's so uncomfortable for me for people to hear and see me. You understand? But I had to get out of my own way.
Yep. That part.
But this is divinely designed because Edwina and I got on the same color. And we got on a hat. And DJ is matching my hat. So we're all put together at the time that we were. You know what I'm saying? So this right here was deliberately divinely designed. That's a part of my affirmation. I am deliberately divinely designed. You understand? So, therapists, get you some help. Be real with yourself. I cannot tell people enough. Don't try to copycat no one. Be yourself. Okay? Find you some mentors who can actually lead you to where you want to go. Okay? You heard about a part of my story. Molested, homeless, all of that. But I will tell you this. One thing I did, and I did it consistently, was I dressed for success. You could never tell what was going on in my life ever unless I told you. I dressed how I saw myself in the future. So while I was homeless, I had on a nice pair of heels, I had on a big fluffy wig, and I had my makeup. Because I believe in a power stronger than me. You understand? You have to dress for your tomorrow. You can't look like you do today because you have people watching you. You got your haters looking at you. They're waiting to see, oh, she's going to fall. I'm going to plant this seed in somebody's ear. Just got all this stuff, which is just called life. You see? And then, often I say now is, life ain't no dress rehearsal, baby, but this is it. This is not a dress rehearsal. You got to be ready always. I was not prepared for this, but God knew I was. He knew that on this day that I would make my appearance. Let him speak. But he also knew that Tamika gonna be who she is. You understand? You have to be who you are. People need real people. You need to tell the truth, be yourself, and not try to be like others.
Goodness gracious.
You hear me? That's what I tell people. You are a 10. Years ago, before I had life-threatening almost passed away. How many times have I died? Just understand how many times you thought you were gonna die, you still here. It ain't meant for you to get
DJ
here.
talked about that last night,
Yeah.
going down the timeline.
Yeah, you ain't meant to leave here yet. So hey,
Yeah.
you know, you got some scares to let us know that you're still human and you still need
Yeah.
God. But I can tell you from a long time ago, 2011, and I will end with this because in 2011, I started getting sick, very sick. And I was like, what is going on? I just started getting slower and slower, you know? And look, it is what it is. Women, you know, we have that thing that come every month. But this time it was different. I had bled. When it just, I don't know if I told you this. I think I probably had, but I hadn't talked about this in a long time. I had it. I just say I lost 70% of my blood. That was on a Sunday. Monday morning, I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't lift my cell phone. Cell phone was too heavy. None of my children, I couldn't make my children go to school. Then that Tuesday came. My son was like, Mommy, you're sick. You got to go to the hospital. You got to go to the hospital. I couldn't get out of bed. So in order to keep them from worrying about me, I decided to rearrange my room to see, so that they could see that I was okay. I almost killed myself because I did not know I had lost this much blood. And as I flipped over the mattress, I fell. And my heart was beating. It was just, and I was sweating profusely. My son came in, he said, oh my God, Mommy's dead. Mommy's dead. And I was like, oh, no. I felt horrible. Fast forward, the next day, I pretended like I was okay. Just like some of you are. But I ain't going to go into that. So the next day, because I pretended for a few hours, they were able to go to bed and get up and go to school the next day. I proceeded, did whatever I had to do. So I asked my brother to take me to Walmart and do, I need to get some dog food. Still not thinking about myself. Still thinking I'm okay. Hashtag Superwoman is a fraud. So while I was at Walmart, I could not push the basket. So my brother looked at me. He said, Tamika, you don't look right. You need to work out or do something. Long story short, he got me home. As I sat still on the chair, I couldn't breathe. I took the last bit of breath to call my aunt. And I said, please help me. And then I took that other energy I had to call, please help me. So my sister-in-law came and got me. They got me to the hospital. I was having a heart attack. But that's not the reason why. I was having some issues with my heart. They rushed me in to the ER, took off my clothes, put all these things on me. They could not find a vein. It's like, where's this woman's blood? All I could say was I had a blood clot this big that fell out Sunday. They rushed me and they said, she got 30%. Call her family. We are losing her. My eyes rolled in the back of my head, and I called out for my brothers. And I said, Lord, I can't die because I ain't been to Disney World yet, and I'm mad at the sister-in-law that brought me here. True story. True story. So do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, Lord. Because at this rate, I'm going to hell. I'm mad at her, but she used her to take me to the emergency room. So they got me.
Oh.
I'm not kidding, y'all. It's a true, I swear it's a true story.
I ain't been to Disney
Oh, goodness.
Oh, Jesus.
So they called all the doctors they could. And so they figured out, they did a, like an ultrasound. They said, Miss Griffin, you have a large tumor.
Vicky had to laugh at that one.
Like, what? And so they had to give me emergency, they couldn't cut me then. But yeah, I was on my way out here, but I had sense enough to know I don't like her right now. So you can't take me yet. But I saw myself after they did the surgery and all this other stuff. And I said, Lord, what happened? How is it that I'm always around these people, millionaires, and I'm not one yet? He said, because I made you a 10 and you're functioning like a 3. This was on my back after surgery, healing. Yes, ma'am. And I was trying to figure out where my first book came from. Your Mind's Eye. Catch this, Winnie. Your Mind's Eye. Every time you go through something, you should have a memory that shows you how you ought to be. This last time in 2011, it was November, I saw me speaking on stage. I had a big afro. And I had on white. I saw me and I said, what in the world? This Percocet is no joke. What is it? But he said, that's your mind's eye. You are who you're going to be no matter what goes on in your life. And from that right there, I started writing. And this part is for you, Winnie. I had to wait until I had another story to add to begin the book. Every writer who is meant to write understands there is that story that's going to push them to actually go ahead and do what they said that they were going to do. That's why I'm an author today. I don't know how many books I've published. I'm helping other people publish, but I forgot. You understand? So see who you are. Go back to when you were 10 years old. Start forgiving those people now. I heard Miss Wendy say that before. I don't care what you did. You cannot stay mad at people because God has been amazing to us.
Yep.
There are many people I wanted to just go run over. I just could not. You can't. You cannot. I can't go to jail. You can't. Ain't no prison ministry going on here. You got to do what you got to do. Okay? But you will be tested and you will be tried. But you're here. Mm-hmm. You have a life's purpose. Mm-hmm. You've got to learn how to withstand all of the devil's, the traps from family, from best friends. I've been betrayed. That betrayal hurts. I was betrayed by a man that I love. I put in my books. I ought to just delete them out. I'm gonna go re-edit that book. But the thing is, I put him in the book, and he cheated on me. Okay, with a girl I knew, and they put it on Facebook. So yeah, that book is coming out because it has to be written. So your life's experiences is for those to keep going, and you will not be doing things when you're working on your gift, whether you're going to write a book, rate a personality. I didn't even think I could do this, even though I told DJ yesterday, you have a voice for radio.
Thank you.
I stutter and I may cuss. So, I ain't for everybody. I just ain't for everybody, but Winnie was a person that said, I almost gave up. I don't know if I told you, I almost screw Facebook. I don't want to do it no more. And then she called me. Girl, that post, girl, you just keep it real. I was like, you don't know. I was about to delete all my social media. Because when you're meant to do something and you're really meant to do something, like DJ said earlier, it felt like he was like this restriction. Like my aunt said, it feels like you got a boa constriction, or like a python wrapped around you. that will try to immobilize you from moving forward. You and what you're called to do will start calling on you, will start pulling on you. You will not be able to sleep. You will not be able to continue being a counterfeit. You understand? You will not continue being a counterfeit when it is your time to bloom. You understand? So it's your time. Whoever's listening, it's your time to bloom. Stop with your excuses. You ain't gonna never have enough money to do it. You ain't gonna. It's just stuff is not going to come the way you think, because so many people feel I got to do this. I got to finish school. I got to, my children got to graduate. What if you pass away before anything starts?
Boom.
I know.
You wasted all this freaking time trying to get ready for something you still ain't gonna do until a tragedy hit you. You know what I'm saying?
Write your book tomorrow, Miss Whitney.
You know what I'm saying? So write it. Books are immortal. Whatever you do is immortal. We gotta leave our children royalties. Okay? Les Brown talks about one of his best friends. She had been writing a book for 16 years. I'm about to light some fire up under you in that red hat. She had been getting ready to write a book for 16 years. She told Les Brown, I'm doing it, and she was doing it. She was doing it. And he called her one day, okay, I got this chapter. The lady died. He said it was the most amazing part, but he can't finish her book.
Right.
He cannot finish her book. The reason she took so long is because she was married to a man who did not believe in her. And by the time she got a mentor, she died. Don't waste no more time, because procrastination means you think you have more time than you are actually allotted. So that ain't nothing but pure ego. So yeah. So that's my name. They call me the Determinator Griffin. I just have that mindset. And my whole purpose in life is to develop leaders into winners. You hear me? Stop wasting your time. You don't know what you got tomorrow. Okay? I love you, and God knows, DJ, I'm so grateful for this moment right now. I truly am. I will never forget this, and I'm just going to continue blooming. Please be your best. Don't ever stop this.
You grateful. Let me.
I'll go where my head go. I need to take his head off for a minute. So we can just dead in.
When she said I'm about to light some fire up with that red hat, I about got out of my chair.
That's why I took the red hat on just there. I'm like, let me get this shit off for a minute.
I know we live, and I know this is going a little bit longer than we intended. But you know what? 3 hours, 3 minutes, 46 seconds. Praise God. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I've been you down there. Ooh. Woo! It's something. We might go another 3 hours.
No, we ain't.
Look, both of you. Miss Winnie said this when I first met her, and she's been saying it ever since. And it is in relation to what you talked about. Know your worth. Mm-hmm. Know your worth. Everything you were speaking, it was running through. God was screaming, "Know your worth, boy!" And it's like you said, procrastination is just pulling the time that you're, taking away the time that you're allotted. I shared a little bit of a piece of something that Miss Winnie did for me. You said don't ever stop this. I can't. after what you just said, I can't stop this. Jesus. 3 times done got emotional up here.
It's all right. Go ahead.
It's so amazing. To close it out, I thought we were done. I'm like, God, she done hit it again. Like, you think about it, and there were times I'm like, why am I doing this? I Miss Winnie, it drove me crazy. Miss Winnie, I ain't got the numbers. Miss Winnie, I can't get. I'm not getting it. Why? This right here is the point of everything I've ever done. This moment in my life, right here.
Mm-hmm.
When you reach, she just reached in and grabbed Miss Winnie by the know your worth.
Know your worth.
Know your worth. You understand? She said, "What if you die?" We take our stuff for granted. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And Miss Winnie been saying, "I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it." And I say, "Oh Jesus!" But I'm gonna say this. Miss Winnie said, "Know your worth." You, boy, I wish I'd have met you last year. Because the reason I hadn't said this yet, I had started my CP. This is my 71st episode. I started my CP and I was working with my CP. I was fine. I was comfy. I was happy. My CP was my thing. Miss Winnie said, "I want you to do more." I said, "Do more?" What you talking about? She said, "I want you to start a Twitter, an Instagram, another YouTube. I want you to expand your brand. You got time." Wait, what are you talking about? I said, "How in the world you gonna tell me what time I got?" I got hot. I looked at her, head cockeyed, wheelchair turned slightly sideways. I said, "I ain't got time for all that." She looked at me. She said 3 words. She said just like this, "Yes, you do." And I was pissed, boy. I mean, I was hot to the point.
He was.
But see, here's the thing. I look at this now, and the guest I've had up here, and this guest that canceled on me was apologetic and everything. I said, "I'll book you in December, man. No problem, whatever. This right here is what this show is supposed to be. When you grab it and you got it and you're molding it, and you got that person on the outside that's been the writer or the contractor or the house builder or the storyteller or the mother or the father that's right there on the edge. And you're looking at it. You got your dream in front of your face and you've been staring at it for years. But you sit there and you wait. You better get up off your butt and go, because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that she said, 2011, listen,
Mm-hmm.
70% of her blood, do you hear yourself? And look at this. Look at what you've done. God has blessed this woman. Good Lord, I'm running, Jesus. Boy, that's the fire that we need. That's the fire that we need right there. You let something almost take you from here. Almost. He had it. You were gone. And God said, "Oh, not today. No, you ain't done yet."
Right.
God is not through with you yet.
Right.
When he said that last night, "Miss Winnie, if you don't write this book, I'm going to step on your toes."
I don't know how you gonna do that. He need roll over my
I
toes.
will find out.
He always say roll, so he gonna roll over my toes.
I believe in the two of you have And this show has inspired me. She said, I'm so thankful and so grateful for this moment. You think you grateful? I can't put it into words. I can't do
You
it.
only imagine what that TV show gonna be about.
I mean, seriously, like
That thing will be lit. Lit.
This right here. I look at it now, and God's going. You see what I can do when there's a time and a place for everything. I have never had a 3-hour, 10-minute, and 49-second broadcast in my life. And this thing has been, I mean, I meant going from the get-go, like so powerful, and couldn't get the radio up. But I mean, I'm like, really, I'm looking at this going, God, holy smokes, you blew me away. I wasn't ready for this.
You gotta be careful what you ask for.
But it's crazy to me
Be
because
ready.
you said ask her to come up. I'm like, ask her to what? Oh, you mean the radio? Okay, yeah. Had I known, I still would have asked her because this is powerful. That story right there, when you have a near-death experience, just give me 2 minutes. I promise I'm done this one. I'm sorry. You know, I roll around in my chair. I go everywhere. I'm Food Line, Dunkin' Donuts, hair salon, barbershop. I had been to my mother's 70 times. The house that I lived in since 92, right around here, around the corner, right by my church. I was leaving my mother's, and my wife at the time was behind me. I'm coming around the corner, and this big truck that's sitting this far above me comes right here and screams, "Stop!" And the wheels touch my footrest.
Oh, right. I know that.
In that moment, everything that I had, everything, in the blink of an eye could have been gone. I came home, I was shaking, I was crying, I was scared. Once I let all that go, once I got home and Emily was okay and all that, I looked up and I said, God, what do you want me to do? You know, at this time, I was with Miss Winnie, and I had been working. I'd always ask what my purpose was. I knew that I was supposed to help people. I knew I was supposed to deliver a message and get it out there, speak somehow, some way. And right here today, every technological thing that could have happened today, tried to stuff. So the radio wouldn't work, couldn't get the thing come up. I hit Facebook Live, and this thing took off. If you have a story inside of you, get it out. If you have an idea that you think is going to help somebody else, even if you think that nobody else believes in you, I do. He does. Because he wouldn't put you down here if he didn't believe in you. These people are in my life for a reason. I said these, yes, ma'am, both of them. Every single, you think I ain't going to connect to her every chance I get? Don't worry, I ain't going to call you 3 hours, I promise. You got to understand, the only thing that you got to do is put one foot forward. You got to start somewhere. I'm going to say this. To the people that have stayed on this show and watched this show the entire 3 hours and live with this and cry with us and laugh with us and experience this real, I will go on record of saying this is the best show I've ever had. I've had so many wonderful guests and so many wonderful people and so many wonderful things that have been. But for Tiffany to come out today and do what she did,
Yes, yes,
for Tamika to share her story, for me to share mine, for
yes,
Ms. Wilson to share hers. See, this is all what God wants us to do. We're not alone, people. You're not
no,
by
the
yourself.
problem is this. This was divinely, this is called a divine intervention.
Divine intervention. Mm-hmm.
That's what it's called. Even though we didn't know, but God knew. He knew. Timing is everything. I believe timing is everything.
Mm.
And we probably needed a twist. So you got that twist today. It wasn't by mistake that you called me yesterday. It wasn't even by mistake that he canceled.
That's
called divine intervention.
That's the thing that is blowing my mind right now. You know, I realized I was thinking we were going 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes over. I want to tell you where we just stopped the show at. 3:16. Now you think about that. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Now you tell me, I know that Miss Winnie is capable of great things because I'm glad you're still here, Nikki. I've seen this woman do some amazing stuff. All she got to do is touch something and it turns to gold. And I mean that not in cocky sincerity. I mean she puts her heart and soul in something. She blesses some people. Lord have mercy. She blessed me my whole life. I ain't even gonna get me going up here crying again. But you, Miss Tamika, there's something. I guess to me, to know you and to realize not only are you and Miss Winnie in two peas in the same pod, but a lot of our passion is two peas in the same pod, and I see where you come from. I love this. This right here is powerful because everybody that listens to this, that comes out, that tells a story, that hurts and goes through this, can relate and say, you know what? For 3 hours, these men and women have poured their lives on live and really were truthful. I cannot stand fake people. I say that all the time. All the time. And this right here, you said, please be real with yourself and get out of your own way. How many times Miss Winnie done said, get out your own way? She told me when I started my Instagram that took me 4 hours to set up that I didn't stop. I was going to quit and throw that something out the window, but I didn't do it. I set that Instagram up and I did it. Get out of your own way and stop denying what God made you to be. That's what I want to leave you with. Stop denying that what God made you to be. There are people out here right now that are sitting there with their toes just hopping and the feet just going back and forth, and they wonder, what am I supposed to do? Use what God gave you and make yourself known because you're worth it.
Yes, yes.
You're worth it. I'm going to say this before I end. Thank you to both of you because this right here has blessed me. Let me say that again. This right here has blessed me. I had no idea. I looked up when I said that. No idea where this was going to go. I had none. I thought this was going to be 1, 2, 3, 58 minutes, great show. You know, I'm looking at this going, ooh, God got a hold of something. And you talk down deep in your spirit. When it's down there,